Chapter 295. Once he said their words, everyone's jaws dropped. No way. This stall had so many demonic cores as well as other stuff. Unexpectedly it all went to Bailey Hongzhuang in this fashion. Bailey Hongzhuang was bursting with laughter. This move from the stall owner didn't surprise her much. After all, he hadn't been able to cultivate for quite a while. In his heart, the value of the channel opening pill was much higher than anything he owns. Ling Jiesin was completely dumbfounded. This is Bailey Hongzhuang trying to hoodwink us, right? Channel opening pill? Who knows how long ago it was lost? How could she possess it? If you want to swindle someone, you should at least do so with a more convincing reasoning, right? Yet, the stall owner actually believed it. Stall owner, this channel opening pill must be a fake. Don't be fooled, Ling Jiesin quickly said. What a joke. It was fine if the stall owner was deceived, but what about her 100,000 gold coins and 50 demonic crystals? The stall owner gave Ling Jiesin a dirty look. Isn't this person able to see others happy at all? I'm willing to be deceived. It's none of your damn business. As his voice faded, the stall owner shot Ling Jiesin a look of scorn. Holding onto the white porcelain bottle, he left the city square, eager to test out the effect of this channel opening pill. All this was way too dramatic. No one knew how to react. Other cultivators even wanted to ask, was this stall owner a shill brought here by Bailey Hongzhuang? The pill formula for the channel opening pill had already been lost for so many years. How could Bailey Hongzhuang have it? It's ridiculous. What you're saying is wrong. The vibrating needle technique was also lost many years ago. Yet, Bailey Hongzhuang knows it as well. Hearing these words, everyone froze and looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with eyes streaked with fright. How did these long-lost things appear in her hands? Could it be that Bailey Hongzhuang is a cultivator born from a powerful and influential family? Ling Jiesin's face paled. No matter how one looked at it, she should have won the bet. Yet she actually lost. 100,000 gold coins, 50 demonic cores. Where is she going to acquire all this? Bailey Hongzhuang casually glanced at Ling Jiesin. Our bet, remember to pay up in 3 days. With so many people here, you wouldn't renege on it, right? However, the casually spoken words were akin to a mountain pressing down on Ling Jiesin's heart. If she reneged on the bet, then afterwards how would she be able to survive in the Azure Water School? With me here, she wouldn't dare to renege. Gong Shaoqing suddenly said in his indifferent voice, as if the outcome was already decided. Ling Jiesin paled even more. Damn him. How did she not know that Gong Shaoqing liked to help people so much? Everyone's eyes were filled with interest. Such a large amount, Ling Jiesin is really unlucky. Bailey Hongzhuang methodically put everything from the stall into her yin-yang pouch. With so many demonic core, it was enough to feed Baisher for quite a while. Speaking of which, a single rank 2 pill was exchanged for so many demonic cores. It was a really good deal. The sun shined on Bailey Hongzhuang and Gong Shaoqing, causing 2 shadows to stretch out from their bodies, looking especially harmonious. That channel opening pill, it's real? One could not tell Gong Shaoqing's thoughts from his cold face. He was really astonished. The channel opening pill was a pill that many cultivators needed. Only, it had already disappeared 200 years ago. Every time Lu Qingyue talked about this matter, she couldn't help but sigh. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang bring out a channel opening pill today, he was really shocked. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips lifted slightly, clear and beautiful eyes were mocking and teasing, and answered with a question, what do you think? Support me on Patreon for early chapter access. Chapter 296. Gong Shaoqing's deep black eyes stared at Bailey Hongzhuang, an unclear emotion surged in them, and yet he did not say a word. Sure enough, this guy was best at playing the cold-blooded card. Bailey Hongzhuang shrugged helplessly. Fine, I'll tell you. It's real. Gong Shaoqing narrowed his eyes. He felt a faint feeling of shock in his heart, yet did not show a bit of emotion on his face and walked towards the school with steady steps. Bailey Hongzhuang was really extraordinary. Whether it's the vibrating needle technique or the long-lost channel opening pill, both unexpectedly appeared in her hands. This is enough to prove that her origins are not common. Exactly. Who is she? For the first time in his life, Gong Xiaoqing felt curiosity in his heart. When the students saw Bailey Hongzhuang and Gong Xiaoqing walking side by side, an astounded look appeared on each and every one of their youthful faces. It had always been the case that other than Lu Qingyue, there were no other women who could walk together with Gong Xiaoqing. They didn't expect that Bailey Hongzhuang could also walk together with him. Everyone's gazes kept changing every second. Even though Bailey Hongzhuang had only arrived at the school for a short time, she gave them a very big shock. Feeling everyone's surprised eyes on her, Bailey Hongzhuang's eyebrows twitched. How did the news from the city square spread back here so quickly? When she returned to the dormitory, she discovered Zhang Yunfeng waiting outside her house. With clear and bright eyes holding a trace of clarity, Bailey Hongzhuang immediately understood the reason Zhang Yunfeng came. Bailey Hongzhuang. Zhang Yunfeng slowly said. Thank you for saving Haoyan. I was rude yesterday. I apologize for that and hope you can forgive me. Zhang Yunfeng's beautiful face was apologetic and full of gratitude. Her words were sincere as she recalled the rude words she said to Bailey Hongzhuang yesterday. She felt like dying from the shame. Under that kind of situation, Bailey Hongzhuang still saved Shui Haoyan. She was incredibly grateful for that. I understand your feelings, don't worry about it. Bailey Hongzhuang's smile showed forgiveness and understanding. As a physician, she had met quite a few family members. However, she wouldn't lend a hand to help cure ordinary people at all. There was not much affection between her and Shui Haoyan. The vast portion of that reason was because of Dongfang Yu. Zhang Yunfeng was touched. Bailey Hongzhuang was unexpectedly so magnanimous. Compared to her, she was really too narrow-minded. Hongzhuang, thank you. In the future, if there's a need for me and Haoyan, just to say a word and we would definitely be there. Zhang Yunfeng's eyes flashed with a sense of steadiness. Kindness should be paid back. In the future, Bailey Hongzhuang's business is her business. Bailey Hongzhuang's smile was gentle. Senior sister doesn't have to worry about it. You should take good care of senior brother Cui instead. Zhang Yunfeng nodded her head and bowed deeply. This time, I'm really thankful to you. Inside the house, Bailey Hongzhuang put the demonic cores on her bed. Baisher had already happily jumped onto the bed, his furry body lying on top of the demonic cores with a bright smile on his face. His paws grabbed a demonic core, chomped on it. His entire face was filled with an air of happiness. Bailey Hongzhuang touched Baisher's little head. Demonic cores were really hard, so this little guy's teeth were quite sharp. This Zhang Yunfeng doesn't seem that bad, not as loathsome as she was yesterday, Little White said as it preened itself. Humph, at least she knows to show gratitude. Little Black coldly grunted. The fact that its master would lend a hand was already a big favor. Yet they are actually still talking so inconsiderately. Bailey Hongzhuang single-handedly lifted a fur ball. There's no need to stick up for me. I've just arrived at the Azure Water School. There's no harm in buying people off and being kind to them. Support me on Patreon for early chapter access. Chapter 297. With Cui Haoyan and Zhang Yunfeng's positions, having them owe her a debt of gratitude, really wasn't a bad deal. I just knew Master wouldn't do anything that would cause her a loss. Little Black smugly raised its eyebrows. Just as Gong Xiaoqing returned to his house, Dongfang Yu came and knocked on the door. Gong Xiaoqing. Today, I heard some news about Bailey Hongzhuang from the cultivators that came from Fengbo country's imperial city. It's really too inconceivable. Do you want to know? Dongfang Yu, peach blossom eyes blinked as he smiled at Gong Xiaoqing. Gong Xiaoqing lazily glanced as Dongfang Yu, if you want to say it, then say it. Dongfang Yu's lips widened. With Gong Xiaoqing's disposition, if he didn't completely refuse it, then he actually wanted to know. We all used to think that Bailey Hongzhuang was a general's daughter. Then I learned that she was bullied at the general's household. In the past it was widely spread throughout the entire imperial city that she was a waste. Until this year, that is. Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly soared and bloomed radiantly. She not only took first place in the royal hunting competition, but also made a name for herself as a genius doctor in the imperial city. After comprehending all this, the shock Dong Fangyu felt couldn't possibly get any higher. It was only then that he understood why Bailey Hongzhuang had that reaction when he said she was a pampered young lady. With a childhood of being bullied and made fun of in her childhood, how would she have lived a life of luxury? It wouldn't even hold a candle to the life of commoners. Gong Xiaoqing's expression also held a trace of shock. With her bearing now, they couldn't at all see how she could have experienced that kind of past. So it's to say that all the changes Bailey Hongzhuang went through happened within this year? Dong Fangyu nodded slightly. That's right. No matter if it's opening Godly Doctor Square or revealing her abilities, it all happened within this 1 year. In my opinion, Bailey Hongzhuang must have hidden her true abilities for many years to be able to utterly reveal her true strength this year. What incredible restraint. That gentle and handsome face showed shock and lament. If it were ordinary people, they would have been long overwhelmed by this kind of environment, let alone hiding all their strength to just be able to reveal it to the world one day. Over 10 years of living and enduring the humiliation in exchange for a slap in everyone's face. This kind of disposition was simply terrifying. All along, he felt that Gong Xiaoqing's disposition towards calmly cultivating was scary. But after knowing about Bailey Hongzhuang's experiences, he just felt that the most incredible one was Bailey Hongzhuang. Adversity encourages growth, and Bailey Hongzhuang almost completely had her back to the wall. If that's really the case, then Bailey Hongzhuang is very frightening. Gong Xiaoqing used the word frightening because without personally experiencing it, there was no way to understand the kind of pain that comes from struggling under that kind of environment. He was only afraid that, in the past, Bailey Hongzhuang's growth was only motivated by her hatred towards the people of the general's household. However, in the present they didn't feel this from Bailey Hongzhuang. It could be seen that her thoughts were profound. Frightening? Dong Fangyu's long eyebrows slanted, his pink peach blossom eyes shined with a mesmerizing light. I don't think so. As a cultivator, the most important thing is persistence and restraint. Gong Xiaoqing never denied that. With this kind of special quality, one could only imagine Bailey Hongzhuang's future. Forget about cultivation, this kind of medical skill shouldn't be due to Bailey Hongzhuang's efforts alone. It's simply not possible. Gong Xiaoqing's voice deepened slightly. It should be that she has a strong master. I also think the same. Perhaps it was that master that cured Bailey Hongzhuang. Dong Fangyu's bright eyes flashed. After knowing all this, he instead felt a bit of pity towards Bailey Hongzhuang. That stubborn girl brimmed with pride and arrogance from head to toe, but she made his heart feel pained and worried. Hey, in the future, don't call Bailey Hongzhuang stupid, or I won't let you off. Dong Fangyu hit Gong Xiaoqing's chest with his fist. Then, he put his hands behind his head and walked back to his own room with dignity. Gong Xiaoqing's expression changed in an instant. Dong Fangyu seemed to be a bit strange. As she had completed the mercenary mission of the armored rhinoceros, Bailey Hongzhuang had received 100 points. The academy had many things going on at this time, but they had no way to complete the mission in such a short period of time. She might as well go cultivate at the pagoda and see how that went. As the most attractive cultivating spot in Azure Water School, it definitely had its reasons for becoming so famed. She didn't know how much 100 points were either, so she might as well go check it out. The Cultivation Pagoda was the tallest building in Azure Water School, with 21 floors. Even if one was outside of Azure Water School, one could see the Cultivation Pagoda in just a glance. The Cultivation Pagoda was entirely black, understated and dull. The special material on it prominently penetrated slightly like colored glass. Even if the sunlight shone on it, the building would not reflect any light. It was just like an immense attracting magnet by thoroughly absorbing everything around it. Just looking at the outside, one would feel an unordinary aura. In the second when she walked into the cultivation pagoda, Bailey Hongzhuang could clearly feel a vague presence scanning her. It could be assumed that this was to determine if she was a student from the Azure Water School. Standing on the first floor, Bailey Hongzhuang felt the exceptionally strong spirit power. These powers and everything else all surged into her internal body. Emotions flashed in her pitch-black glittering pupils. No wonder the cultivators in the cultivating pagoda of Azure Water School cultivated so much faster than other cultivators. She didn't know how much faster the cultivating speed could be here versus how fast she had cultivated in the past. Upon sweeping her gaze over the area, Bailey Hongzhuang discovered that this building had 8 extremely spacious and empty rooms. Every stone room's scope was pretty big. At this moment, Bailey Hongzhuang noticed a board that was hung next to the entrance. It clearly explained all the necessary costs of points for each floor. First floor, 100 points per day. Second floor, 95 points per day. Third floor, 90 points per day. The higher the floor was, the less points it required. Because all the power had assembled underground, the lower the floor, the better the effect it had on cultivation. Bailey Hongzhuang possessed 100 points, but to cultivate in one floor, she would actually only have enough to cultivate for a day. Though this cultivation pagoda produces extremely good results, it needs 10 times the points. If I were to cultivate on this floor, how many missions would I have to complete? Bailey Hongzhuang was secretly speechless. She had accompanied Gong Shaoqing and the others to complete this mission, and this mission hadn't been that low either. Among the 4 people, everyone could only get 100 points. It could only be feared that the other students in Azure Water School were making even less points. It turned out that everyone had been saving them up. As it turned out, points were the most important thing to a Azure Water School student. "Master, this place is too great," Little Black and Little White excitedly said. After they had been infused with so much strength, it had been extremely helpful to both of their cultivations. "Let's first walk up, and find a good place where we can cultivate." Her delicate and extremely beautiful face drew into a witty smile. The others could only cultivate one by one, but she could bring Little Black and Little White, as well as Baisher, and come cultivate together. When added all up, spending these points was extremely worth it. Though this type of strength was becoming a rarity, it was much more fulfilling when compared to the usual cultivation practices. Although points were used up very quickly here, Bailey Hongzhuang found that the rooms were all still filled with cultivators, with even more waiting outside for the other cultivators to leave. The door plate outside the stone room showed the cultivators inside and how long they would cultivate, making it very convenient for everybody to find a room. Bailey Hongzhuang went to the 11th floor. Here, she only had enough points to cultivate for 2 days. Even if she went up another floor, unless she went up to the 15th floor, she only had enough points to rest for 2 days. The 11th floor also had 8 rooms, but they were a lot more narrow than the first floor. Bailey Hongzhuang discovered that every floor had exactly 8 stone rooms, but the rooms grew smaller with every passing floor. On the 11th floor, it could only fit about 3 people. At the 20th floor, the rooms would probably only be able to fit 1 person. Bailey Hongzhuang noted that one of the stone rooms would be free in 2 hours and directly sat outside the room to wait. Sitting on the floor, Bailey Hongzhuang started to cultivate. There was a lot of benefits, and cultivating outside was just as good as cultivating inside the rooms. But the rules were that you could only stay in the hall if you were waiting for a room, otherwise, your points would be deducted. With such a punishment, all the students obediently followed the rules. After all, Azure Water School's prestige couldn't be violated so easily. 2 hours passed in a flash. A little pop could be heard as the door opened. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes lit up, it was finally her turn. A green-robed man opened the door. He looked at Bailey Hongzhuang, startled, before preparing to leave. At that moment, a familiar and untimely voice suddenly rang. "Chen Tianzheng, just in time. Since you're done cultivating, pass the room to me." Pang Yanxiang just arrived at the 11th floor and saw Bailey Hongzhuang. After being publicly humiliated in front of everybody at the mercenary trade union, his hatred only grew stronger. Truly, they were enemies on a narrow road. Chen Tianjing was his good brother, so as long as he opened his mouth, the room would definitely be his. Although 50 points for a day really was quite expensive, if it could make Bailey Hongzhuang furious, he would be happy to pay. Chen Tianjing naturally knew what Pang Yunxiang and smiled, "Sure, I'm just about done. You can go in." Bailey Hongzhuang narrowed her eyes. She didn't expect that Pang Yunxiang would still have the guts to find trouble with her. Just as Pang Yunxiang was about to enter the stone room, Bailey Hongzhuang blocked his way, her red lips gently opening. "Everybody needs to wait their turn." Hearing this, Pang Yunxiang and Chen Tianjing both broke out laughing. "Bailey Hongzhuang, there's only the three of us here. If the two of us say something's the truth, it's the truth. What can you do about it?" Pang Yunxiang's eyes flicked with malice. Because of this woman, he had lost so much face. Everything was because of Bailey Honghang. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes were indifferent and ruthless. "I said, this room is mine." Her cold, clear voice was laced with a threat. She glanced at Pang Yunxiang and Chen Tianjing coldly, her gaze as sharp as a knife. This was already her warning. Pang Yunxiang sneered, "Bailey Hongzhuang, don't think you're so amazing just because you have a little bit of strength. We aren't scared of you." He admitted that he wasn't Bailey Hongzhuang's opponent, but if they teamed up, Bailey Hongzhuang will definitely lose. "Bailey Hongzhuang, you should have thought of the consequences when you bully my brothers." Chen Tianjing's voice was cold. Chapter 300. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved into an enchanting smile. Her bewitchingly beautiful face exuded a charm that fascinated all living beings up one way and down the other. Yet her phoenix eyes were like a poisonous snake, flashing with vicious and tyrannical light. She, Bailey Hongzhuang, did not like to casually speak out, so she was thought of as being easy to bully. You have to know, she was never someone who had a good temper. Bang! Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly punched a fist towards Pang Yunxiang. A surge of spiritual energy exploded from her fist and directly sent Pang Yunxiang's body flying for more than 10 meters. Although Pang Yunxiang was also at the mysterious Ian middle stage, Bailey Hongzhuang had never put him in her eyes. The sudden and unforeseen event was completely out of Chen Tianjing's expectations. Pang Yunxiang didn't even have time to react when Bailey Hongzhuang had taken action. "I am exactly bullying your brother. What are you going to do about it?" The eyes that clearly differentiated between right and wrong flashed with a dazzlingly brilliant light. Bailey Hongzhuang raised her chin slightly, her attitude arrogant and haughty. Chen Tianjing's eyes were ablaze with anger. Today, he originally wanted to help Pang Yunxiang get back at Bailey Hongzhuang. He didn't think that right after finishing his words, Pang Yunxiang would be beat up once again. He felt that this fist didn't hit Pang Yunxiang's body, but landed on his face instead. "Bailey Hongzhuang, you're a special enrollment student. I will admit that your ability and talent aren't bad. However, I'm at the mysterious Ian late stage." Even if he wasn't a special enrollment student, he had more time to cultivate than Bailey Hongzhuang. His strength was also above hers. Perhaps a year later, he might not be able to be her opponent. However, the current Bailey Hongzhuang wasn't his opponent. Mysterious Ian late stage. Bailey Hongzhuang's face showed shock and faintly looked scared. The next moment, however, she made a 180-degree change. "Is that very amazing?" Chen Tianjing's eyes were full of anger. This Bailey Hongzhuang was really too detestable. Her casually disregarding words were full of sarcasm and insult. "You're seeking death." Chen Tianjing gnashed his teeth. The spiritual energy inside his body instantly burst out. If he didn't teach Bailey Hongzhuang a lesson, then her arrogance would know no bounds. "Beat him up." Little Black angrily waved his fist around. This kind of eyesore should be stomped to death with a single foot. Bailey Hongzhuang's right hand bounced a bit, sending Little Black and Little White jumping straight out. Bang! Bang! Two small sounds were heard as Little Black and Little White directly hit Chen Tianjing's eyes. Ah! Chen Tianjing gave a cry of sorrow, feeling severe pain in his eyes. The spiritual energy that had half-gathered was utterly diffused. Bailey Hongzhuang kicked Chen Tianjing's stomach with her foot and also sent him flying back for tens of meters. Pang Xiang had just clutched his very painful stomach and stood up when he saw Chen Tianjing flying at him like a flash of lightning. Ah! Another cry of sorrow came out as Pang Xiang was crushed heavily under Chen Tianjing's body. Pang Xiang had a thin body while Chen Tianjing was a real fatty. The moment Chen Tianjing fell on top of him, he spat out a mouthful of blood as he was crushed half to death. Chen Tianjing, hurry and get up! Pang Xiang cried out. If he continued to be crushed like this, he really would lose his life. I'll get up immediately. Chen Tianjing continuously nodded, angrily staring at Bailey Hongzhuang. You actually used hidden weapons. Under Little Black and Little White's attack, Chen Tianjing's eyes swelled and became like a panda's. He forcefully opened a tiny gap in his eyes but simply couldn't make out the situation in front of him. Bailey Hongzhuang slowly walked in front of the two. Just when Chen Tianjing started to get up and the moment Pang Xiang was released, Bailey Hongzhuang fiercely stomped on Chen Tianjing's body with her foot. Chapter 301 Bang! Both of their bodies once again went crashing to the floor. Pang Xiang spat out another mouthful of foaming blood, face already deathly pale. You too. In the future, if you see me you better walk the other way. Or else next time I will have you both completely disappear from this world. Her apathetic voice was filled with killing intent. Pang Xiang and Chen Tianjing suddenly felt frozen. This killing intent sent chills down their spines. After those words Bailey Hongzhuang no longer paid any attention to them. She inserted her point card into the card slot and closed the door. The spiritual energy inside the stone chamber was more abundant and purer than outside. Bailey Hongzhuang took a deep breath. This kind of place was really the best for cultivating. Little Black, Little White and Baisher each chose a space. Like that, one person and 3 beasts started to cultivate at the cultivation pagoda. After taking the channel opening pill, the stall owner's original situation of not being able to cultivate had improved. He became more and more certain that this was the real deal. There were quite a few people in the city square that understood the stall owner's situation. In knowing that the stall owner was already able to immediately go into cultivating, they were all scared to the heavens. The long-lost channel opening pill had appeared again. This news was like the wind, spreading swiftly throughout the entire Azure Water City. Before, quite a few cultivators had witnessed Bailey Hongzhuang using the channel opening pill to make a deal with the stall owner. And now they were talking about this matter even more exaggeratedly. Channel opening pill. This was a pill that many cultivators needed. As long as they were able to broaden their meridians, their cultivation speed would greatly rise. At the same time, it would be more favorable that they would be able to walk further on their road of cultivation. A huge commotion arose in Azure Water City. Many cultivators wanted to find Bailey Hongzhuang to understand the real situation. At best, they would be able to think of a way to get a channel opening pill. That would be really great. Some cultivators knew that the reason Bailey Hongzhuang made a deal with the stall owner was for the demonic beast crystals. Even though they didn't know why she wanted them, they all began to gather them. As long as they had a sufficient amount of demonic beast crystals, they believed that there was a large possibility to be able to trade for a channel opening pill. That was a pill that had been lost long ago. As long as they had it and other cultivators didn't, their cultivation speed would undoubtedly be much stronger by a large margin, when compared to other cultivators. Though the value of the demonic crystals aren't low, they were of no real use to them. How would they compare to the importance of the channel opening pill? Just as everyone started looking for Bailey Hongzhuang, they discovered that she had disappeared. There was no trace of her at the dormitory. Dongfang Yu and the others were already struck with amazement after knowing all this. Now, countless cultivators hovered outside the dormitory of the special enrollment students every day. Suffice to say that once Bailey Hongzhuang appears, they had no doubt that these cultivators would immediately swarm her. She would be completely surrounded. How would Bailey Hongzhuang have channel opening pills? Doubt flashed across Dongfang Yu's handsome eyes. Her deeds always caused people to be astonished. Lu Qinyue twitched her eyebrows, gentle and pretty face holding a sense of contemplation. Bailey Hongzhuang. Is she also an alchemist? Probably not. Dongfang Yu rubbed his chin. That girl was already a godly doctor that mastered the vibrating needle technique. If she was also an alchemist, what sort of concentration did she have? Cultivation. Medical skills. Refining skills. No matter which of the three, each one required a huge amount of concentration as well as time. For Bailey Hongzhuang to be able to cultivate her spiritual energy and develop her medical skills to this level, it already made others feel ashamed. If she knew all three, they might as well have fed their youth to the dogs. Chapter 302. The concern in Lu Qinyue's eyes gradually dissipated. She was originally worthy of being the undisputed goddess in the eyes of all the cultivators in the Azure Water School. Since Bailey Hongzhuang appeared, all this had become precarious for her. Number 1. Beauty. Everyone had already began discussing it. It could be said that she and Bailey Hongzhuang were equally supported. The identity as an alchemist also added quite a bit in her favor. However, she never thought Bailey Hongzhuang would have mastered the long-lost vibrating needle technique. With the identity of godly doctor hanging over her head, it wasn't any weaker than that of an alchemist. If Bailey Hongzhuang was also an alchemist, then she would be completely defeated. However, her thoughts were the same as Dongfang Yu's. One's concentration and energy is limited. It's impossible to master everything. Moreover, the conditions to become an alchemist were harsh. Where would there be such a coincidence? Gong Shaoqing looked at the many students below. This was only the situation inside the school. Outside there are many more who wish to find Bailey Hongzhuang. Yesterday, when he saw that scene at the city square, he had already surmised that such a situation would occur. Channel opening pill. To cultivators, it is indeed attractive enough. Bailey Hongzhuang, where exactly did you go? Dongfang Yu's handsome eyebrows twitched. He still saw Bailey Hongzhuang yesterday. How come no one knew where she went today? Cultivation pagoda. Leaving these two words in an apathetic voice, Gong Shaoqing turned and went back into his house. Oh, Dongfang Yu said suddenly. So that's how it is. But how did this guy know that? Dongfang Yu rubbed the back of his head. He turned and also went back into his house. 100 points. She wouldn't be able to stay in the cultivation pagoda for long. Lu Qinyue stared at Gong Shaoqing's back as he left, a complicated look in her clear eyes. Usually, Gong Shaoqing has never been concerned about anything. None of them knew where Bailey Hongzhuang went. So how did he know? Her heart clenched for a moment, however Lu Qinyue didn't show any expression. Ling Jiesin was undoubtedly the most depressed person. Since leaving the city square yesterday, she had been gathering gold coins and demonic cores. Even if brought out all her possessions, she still wouldn't have 100,000 gold coins and 50 demonic crystals. In desperation, she could only scrimp and save and ask her friends to lend her a bit. With Gong Shaoqing's intimidation, even if she wanted to renege on her bet, she'd be able to. In her desperation, she even sold her valued points before she could gather everything. She was so miserable. And yet Bailey Hongzhuang became a sought-after figure to all the cultivators. It was really just too hateful. Just wait until Yunyang returns. She would definitely make Bailey Hongzhuang pay her back 1,000 times over. At the time the entire Azure Water City was going crazy over the channel opening pill, Bailey Hongzhuang was immersed in cultivating at the cultivation pagoda. With such abundant spiritual energy, it was really beneficial towards cultivating. On the previous trip to the Luoyun mountain range, her strength had definitely risen to a certain degree. In this cultivation pagoda, each time she cultivated it would provide the maximum return. Little Black and Little White excitedly absorbed the spiritual energy in the cultivation pagoda. At their cultivation level, it wasn't easy to get to the next level. However, cultivating is something they must do every day. Compared to Little Black and Little White's seriousness, Baishar found a comfortable and began a routine of eating then sleeping, sleeping then eating. Because Baishar is the demonic beast king, at a young age it only needs sleep and be able to absorb spiritual energy to advance its cultivation. Knowing this, Bailey Hongzhuang couldn't help but feel a bit envious. Eat then sleep, sleep then eat. Being able to advance your cultivation just by doing this. It was really too amazing. The demonic calling scripture was regarded as a taboo cultivation method. Its way of cultivation is also slightly different. Chapter 303 All the other methods utilize the body's main meridians to cultivate and enhance their cultivation. On the other hand, the demonic calling scripture utilizes the opening of all the meridians in the body to cultivate. As each additional meridian is opened, it will be used to cultivate. Since the moment Bailey Hongzhuang began cultivating using the scripture, the meridians she could cultivate with were 2 more compared to the others. By now, the meridians she could use to cultivate were already 3 more compared to the others. This amount didn't seem large. However, as long as you were a cultivator, then you'd understand the weight of those 3 meridians. Moreover, they will still continue opening. Later, her cultivation speed would greatly surpass that of the other cultivators. This was where the taboo cultivation method went against the heavens. As soon as the 2 days were up, a small alarm rang out as a reminder. Little Black and Little White climbed up onto Bailey Hongzhuang's head again. Then she carried Baishar as she left the cultivation pagoda. Just 2 short days of cultivating and Bailey Hongzhuang was made aware of the benefits of the cultivation pagoda. She needs to earn more points so she can increase her cultivation quicker. However, when Bailey Hongzhuang returned to the dormitory, she was shocked by the sea of people that greeted her. Since when has the outside of our dormitory been so lively? Her ink-black phoenix eyes held a bit of wonder. It couldn't be that within these 2 days that something exciting happened with the special enrollment class again? Jiang Penyi had already waited outside the dormitory for 2 days and had yet to see Bailey Hongzhuang. His heart was full of helplessness. It was reasonable to say that since the demonic beast tide at the Luoyun mountain range had happened no long ago, that it shouldn't be that she had gone out on a task. So then where did she go? Why is it that no trace of her could be found? When they heard about the earth-shaking news of the channel opening pill, they hadn't held any expectation. After all, they had no relationship with her. Bailey Hongzhuang did not have a reason to help them after all. However, he inadvertently discovered that his roommate, Xiao Zifan, came from the same country as Bailey Hongzhuang. Xiao Zifan was even her friend. As a result, as long as Xiao Zifan asked, then wouldn't they have hope? Jiang Penyi, let's return. Hongzhuang is very busy every day. Let's not disturb her. Xiao Zifan had an awkward look on his face. Bailey Hongzhuang treated him very well. She had even gifted him a cultivating yuan pill. He had always kept this kindness in his heart. However, he didn't have anything that could repay her. And at the moment, Jiang Penyi and the others had dragged him here to disturb Bailey Hongzhuang. He really had a heavy weight on his mind. Xiao Zifan, we just want a chance to use demonic beast crystals to exchange for channel opening pills. We're not asking without giving anything in return. Just help us with this, okay? Jiang Penyi's face was full of pleading. With his current strength, it was very difficult to get a great accomplishment at the Azure Water School. If he had the channel opening pill, his chances would at least improve a lot. One had to know. Before the channel opening pill was lost to time, as long as they had the right qualifications, all cultivators would use it. This was because the effect of broadening one's meridians was really too important. They also knew that requesting Xiao Zifan to help was pushing him into a corner. But this was the only way they could get close to Bailey Hongzhuang. It was during this conversation that Jiang Penyi excitedly looked forward, light flashing through his eyes. Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang has returned. Nowadays, Bailey Hongzhuang's name was on almost all their minds. Therefore, when Jiang Penyi whispered that she had returned, almost every cultivator immediately turned to look towards that direction. Bailey Hongzhuang found that every cultivator was excitedly staring at her. That excitement was akin to a starving dog seeing a bone for the first time in days, eyes green with greed. Chapter 304 Master, what in the world did you do? Little Black's face was stiff. This flock of people can't be Pang Yunxiang's people wanting to kill you, right? Little White shrunk his neck. This number of people is a little too scary. They've seen group battles before, but the sheer amount of people this time was simply too much. These people are really too unbridled, daring to make a clamor right in front of our door. Little Black rubbed its fists eagerly. It seems like it's finally time for us two black and white fiends to debut. Bailey Hongzhuang. The crowd clamored excitedly as they all ran towards her, pushing up against each other. Seeing this, Bailey Hongzhuang felt even more pressured. Just as the two black and white fiends were about to attack, the students all shouted their intentions. Bailey Hongzhuang, do you still have any more channel opening pills? Bailey Hongzhuang, please sell me a channel opening pill. Any price is fine. Bailey Honghang, I prepared a lot of demonic beast crystals. I'll give them all to you if you give me a channel opening pill. Bailey Hongzhuang finally realized why so many people were outside her door. So news about the channel opening pill has already spread. Channel opening pills used to be a very common pill, but here it seemed to be extremely precious. Because they were rare, they were extremely valuable. This was actually pretty good news for her. If she could exchange channel opening pills for demonic beast crystals, she'd never run out of food for Baisher. An idea floated into her mind. She needed points. Bailey Honghang's lips curled into a smile. What a good idea. Dongfang Yu noticed the noise downstairs and instantly knew that Bailey Hongzhuang had returned. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so lively. He immediately left his room. If so many cultivators surrounded her, wanting to leave wouldn't be easy. Everyone calm down, listen to me. Bailey Honghang shouted. With so many students clamoring around her, she had no chance to speak. The students in the front quieted down, but the students in the back continued to make a ruckus. Soon, the scene was very chaotic. Her ink-black eyes revealed a hint of helplessness. It looks like she needed to magnify her voice. But just as Bailey Honghang was about to louden her shout, a water-blue figure appeared beside her. Along with the man's arrival, the crowd of clamoring students miraculously quietened. Bailey Honghang turned, staring at Dongfang Yu astonished. She hadn't thought Dongfang Yu would suddenly appear now. Dongfang Yu was wearing soft, water-blue brocade robes, contrasting with his tall and straight appearance. His temper was mild like jade, with handsome, picturesque facial features. Dongfang Yu looked at Bailey Hongzhuang mischievously, his peach blossom eyes filled with charm. He reached out and directly pulled Bailey Honghang out of the crowd. Seeing this scene, all the students were startled. What exactly was Dongfang Yu and Bailey Hongzhuang's relationship? Although Dongfang Yu always treated Azure Water School's students very well, this was the first time they saw him pull a female student's hand. Bailey Hongzhuang was also startled. Dongfang Yu released her hand after they got out of the encirclement. I pulled you out so it'd be less troublesome. You didn't take offense, right? Dongfang Yu's warm, hazy voice asked with concern as his eyes shined brightly. Bailey Hongzhuang shook her head smilingly. They were groupmates and friends, plus he had also pulled her hand during their time at Luoyun Mountain. It wasn't anything at all. Chapter 305 Everyone, listen up. A light beautiful voice came from Bailey Hongzhuang's lips. With Dongfang Yu taking command of the situation, all the students quietly watched Bailey Hongzhuang. They all wanted to know if Bailey Hongzhuang had channel opening pills in her possession or not. I know everyone came due to the channel opening pill. I do in fact have channel opening pills. However, since I'm selling them, their prices would of course be announced to the public. 7 days later, I will auction off 3 channel opening pills. Everyone may use points, demonic beast crystals as well as other rare herbs and other such items that you feel appropriate to trade with. How does that sound? Her delicate jade-like face framed an enchanting smile. At this moment, her otherworldly figure was like a sly spirit. Each and every move attracted everyone's gazes. How to maximize the pills worth the most is something Bailey Hongzhuang was very clear about. In her past life, she had done similar things often. All the students were first astonished after hearing these words. Then a strong firmness came over their eyes. 3-channel opening pills was much better than they had imagined. As long as there were pills, then they had hope. What's more, though an auction was somewhat beyond their expectations, the cultivators who weren't familiar with Bailey Hongzhuang didn't have to worry about the others being showed favoritism. This was absolutely fair. How they get the channel opening pill would depend solely on their own ability. Dongfang Yu's emotional eyes flashed with astonishment and lamentation. He had also never thought that Bailey Hongzhuang would have this kind of method. Not to mention, he was shocked that Bailey Hongzhuang actually still had 3-channel opening pills. How would this kind of long-lost pill make its way into her hands? At this moment, he admired Bailey Hongzhuang's business sense. An auction. In the history of the Azure Water School, such a situation has never happened before. This kind of method would maximize the profits. Points. This were so precious to the point that students wouldn't sell them. However, he believed that 7 days later the students who want to use points to trade wouldn't be few in number. After 7 days, at the same time, we will meet here. Is that all right? Bailey Hongzhuang's beautiful and perfect face held a confident and steady smile, her tone indifferent. She had the channel opening pills in her possession, so naturally she had the right to talk. Ling Jiesin used up every bit of effort and brought out everything that could be used to raise money before she could gather enough for 100,000 gold coins and 50 demonic beast crystals. As of now, she was practically penniless. If Dai Yunyang doesn't return soon, during this period she really didn't know how her days would pass. However, when Ling Jiesin arrived at the special enrollment student dormitory, she witnessed a lively spectacle. Bailey Hongzhuang was just like a goddess standing in front of everyone. The looks of expectation all fell on her, waiting for her to issue orders. Ling Jiesin angrily clenched her plain white fingers. Her heart was depressed to the extreme. Why? Why did she have to fall down to such a state, and yet Bailey Hongzhuang gets endless glory? Bailey Hongzhuang, you aren't even a pill master. Where would those pills come from? It couldn't be that you're going to casually bring out a pill and fool everyone, right? Ling Jiesin spoke out, with the intent to undermine her. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyebrows twitched. Looking at the slowly approaching Ling Jiesin, her smile held a trace more ridicule. Well, if it isn't Ling Jiesin? You came to pay your debt? At her remark, Ling Jiesin suddenly had an ugly look on her face. Chapter 306. Ling Jiesin could be considered as a rather famous figure in Azure Water School, but now, she had fallen to such a state because of Bailey Hongzhuang. But still, this woman actually still said that in front of everyone. Isn't it just that? I'll give it to you. Ling Jiesin walked in front of Bailey Hongzhuang, directly taking out 100,000 gold coins and 50 demonic beast crystals to give to her. Her face was filled with disdain as if those things were nothing to her. A cunning light flicked past Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes. I heard that Miss Ling suffered a lot trying to collect everything. She, Bailey Hongzhuang, refused to suffer any losses. If Ling Jiesin wanted to shame her, she first needed to think about her own abilities. Everyone turned to look at Bailey Hongzhuang. Everybody heard about the two's bet. If it wasn't for their bet, they never would have known that Bailey Hongzhuang possessed channel opening pills. Which is why even though Ling Jiesin had been in dire straits for the past few days, they were still very thankful to her. Ling Jiesin's eyes flickered with anger. Bailey Hongzhuang always managed to make her feel like dying out of anger. Since words didn't work, Ling Jiesin decided to not argue with Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang, you're just changing the subject. Ling Jiesin's eyes flickered with malice. You couldn't have refined them, so are those pills really channel opening pills? Dongfang Yu looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with concern. This Ling Jiesin always wanted to pick faults. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled at Dongfang Yu before turning to look at Ling Jiesin. What? Do you want to make another bet? Hearing this, everybody couldn't help but smile. Who didn't see that Ling Jiasen's face had already gone red? You! Ling Jiasen couldn't restrain her anger. After losing the bet, it felt as if she could never raise her chin up at Bailey Hongzhuang ever again. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes turned cold as she raised her chin. Her body seemed to shine splendidly as a noble aura filled the air. Why do I need to prove my channel opening pills to you? Her ink-black eyes shined with a sharp light. Who do you think you are? As for the channel opening pills quality, everyone who believes it can come in 7 days' time. If you guys don't trust it, then you don't have to. I, Bailey Hongzhuang, never liked having to explain myself. Her domineering voice was filled with a bone-reaching arrogance. She had never liked explaining things. Everyone who believes her can come, and if they didn't, they just didn't need to. This was her arrogance. She had confidence in her channel opening pills. After speaking, Bailey Honghang directly turned around and entered the special enrollment student's dorm with Dongfang Yu. The other cultivators looked at Ling Jiasen with displeasure. Before they had still wanted to ask a few things, but because Ling Jiasen got in the way, they had lost their chance. They had complete confidence in the channel opening pill. They've all already heard about the stall keeper. If it really was fake, he definitely would have already complained. So, the channel opening pill must be real. Besides, Bailey Hongzhuang wasn't a person who lacked money, so how could she bear to let a little amount of money to damage her reputation? Special enrollment student, godly doctors. How could 3 channel opening pills compare to the 2 titles? Therefore, they had no need to doubt her. Chapter 307. Feeling the disgust in everyone's eyes, Ling Jiasen's expression became even more ugly and shouted, "What are you looking at? Didn't I just do this for your own good?" Hearing this, everyone was even more speechless. If it wasn't because of Dai Yunyang's status, they really wanted to rush up and teach Ling Jiasen a lesson. With the kind of attitude that deserves a beating, anyone who saw it would not be able to stop from getting a bit angry. She's really a crazy woman. There are always idiots, but this year there is especially a lot. What reason is there to pay attention to her? I want to avoid lowering my style. One word after the other. All the students casually spoke words full of mocking and derision. They did not at all have any good feelings towards Ling Jiasen. The students gradually dispersed while Ling Jiasen just stood there blankly. At one time, these people also looked at her with envy. There were no lack of people that sucked up to her. And now, what is this? Why is everyone standing on Bailey Hongzhuang's side? It is really hateful. Ling Jiasen desperately yearned for Dai Yunyang to return. As long as he returned, these people absolutely wouldn't dare to treat her like this. Dongfang Yu and Bailey Hongzhuang walked down the hallway of their dormitory. You've been at the cultivation pagoda these past 2 days? Bailey Hongzhuang smiled slightly as she nodded. That's correct. I've cultivated for 2 days and used up my points. However, the results of cultivating at the cultivation pagoda was indeed very good. Dongfang Yu lifted his eyebrows. Looks like Gong Shaoqing's is very knowledgeable towards Bailey Hongzhuang's movements. Senior Dongfang, I have an important matter I want to ask of you. Bailey Hongzhuang stared deeply at Dongfang Yu. Her beautifully bright and clear eyes held a light of expectation. What matter? As long as it's within my power, there's definitely no problem. Dongfang Yu's reply was quick and refreshingly unreserved. I hope that you can come to the auction 7 days later. Your prestige in the school is quite high. With you there, everyone would maintain order better. Her ink-black phoenix eyes flashed brightly with wisdom. Even though her fame in the Azure Water School was also high, it did not reach Dongfang Yu's level of prestige. After all, prestige is not the kind of thing that could be established overnight. Dongfang Yu had already spent a year at the school and had an irreplaceable position in the students' hearts. Dongfang Yu suddenly nodded and said, "No problem. Don't worry about it. Then I will thank you first." Returning to her house, Bailey Hongzhuang immediately brought out her furnace. She didn't have any extra channel opening pills on her hand. So she had to refining them now. The channel opening pill she gave to the stall owner before was actually prepared for her own use. Due to the unique characteristic of the demonic calling scripture, she not only had to open her meridians but also broaden them. Therefore the effects from using the channel opening pill would be excellent. The stall owner's need for a channel opening pill had greatly exceeded her expectations. However, the situation now was quite good. The news that Bailey Hongzhuang still had channel opening pills in her possession instantly spread throughout the entire Azure Water School. To everyone, this news was tremendously exciting. As long as they had enough things to trade with, they'd be able to get the coveted channel opening pill. Even though she is auctioning them off, the students felt their good feelings towards Bailey Hongzhuang increased by quite a bit. This was because Bailey Hongzhuang chose to have the auction within the school and didn't bring it to Azure Water City to auction off. Otherwise, with their resources they could never compete with those businessmen. It was precisely because of this point, no one could say that Bailey Hongzhuang placed more importance on benefit. She was also considerate towards the Azure Water School students. All of a sudden, the students of the Azure Water School all started to get busy. Due to this, the entire city square of the Azure Water City had also become unusually lively. Chapter 308 Everyone knew that the only things that would interest Bailey Hongzhuang were demonic beast cores, points and herbs. Gold coins were the most useless. Thus, everyone was collecting comparatively special materials, hoping to impress her. Meanwhile, some rumors about Bailey Hongzhuang and Dongfang Yu had also started to spread out. Even though Senior Dongfang treats everyone well, isn't he especially attentive towards Bailey Hongzhuang? I feel that perhaps Senior Dongfang likes Bailey Hongzhuang. Then what can I do? I've already liked Senior Dongfang for a long time. If Senior Dongfang really has someone he likes, then I. The female students all felt grief in their hearts. They only hoped that this wasn't true. After all, when the person you've liked for so long finds a person to stand by his side, they could no longer have those thoughts in their mind. Bailey Hongzhuang is so beautiful. Isn't it not surprising that Dongfang Yu likes her? Let alone Dongfang Yu, almost every guy would like her. It wasn't the least surprising that the male students would like her. No matter in what aspect, Bailey Hongzhuang was the undisputed prideful daughter of heaven. Though Lu Qingyue had the title of #1 beauty of the Azure Water School, they felt that the newly arrived junior Bailey appeared to be much more relatable to them. Bailey Hongzhuang had no knowledge towards the various remarks from the world outside. She only single-mindedly refined pills inside her house. Master, haven't you already refined 4 channel opening pills? Why are you still refining more? Little Black was bored stiff as it tugged at the fur on Little White's head. Once Master seriously does something, she is as stubborn as a bull. For example, refining pill. Master had been refining pills since she returned. It looks like she won't stop refining pills until she mentally exhausts herself. 3 pills were for the auction. 1 for her own use. 4 pills were already enough. Bang! When the lid lifted off the furnace, another channel opening pill was successfully refined. While Bailey Hongzhuang put the channel opening pill into the white porcelain bottle, she smilingly said, Senior Dongfang as well as Jiqing and the others are all my good friends. Every cultivator needs the channel opening pill. I am also prepare a portion for them. Towards her real friends, she had never been stingy. The grade of the channel opening pill wasn't high, but it had a significant effect on cultivators. All this time, Dongfang Yu and the others have all treated her well and helped her with many things that could not be repaid easily. The channel opening pill was undoubtedly the best choice. Hearing this, Little Black finally understood and then immediately approached Bailey Hongzhuang. Master, what do you think about Senior Dongfang? Bailey Hongzhuang slightly narrowed her phoenix eyes. Her gut told her that Little Black's question was not as simple as it sounded. What do you want to say? Little Black clasped its hands together. Master, even though I feel that Senior Dongfang isn't bad, I still stand firmly on Dibei Chen's side. Dongfang Yu had always been considerate towards Master and it could tell a few things from the vague atmosphere between them. However, it looked at Bewitching in a better light. Ugh. Slap. Bailey Hongzhuang sent Little Black flying with a single slap. Little furballs don't have to think about such complicated questions. Ah! Little Black hit the wall and miserably rolled back. It sat quietly to the side, not daring to say a word. Little White sighed and looked helplessly at Little Black. I already said. Master likes Senior Dongfang. You just had to ignore me. You deserve to be beaten. Bailey Hongzhuang had just prepared to return to refining pill when she suddenly heard Little White's words. Her heart stilled for a moment before she smoothly sent Little White flying to the other side. Don't you two have too much free time on your hands? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrow. It seems that I have to find something for your guys to do. Chapter 309. When those words left Bailey Hongzhuang's mouth, Little Black and Little White's expressions changed. Tacitly, both of them put their paws over their mouths and obediently sat on the bed, indicating that they won't speak again. Baisher proudly rubbed up against Bailey Hongzhuang and got a demonic beast crystal from her hand. As Baisher crunched on the crystal, it arrogantly looked at the two who were being punished. That little villain. Little Black said angrily. Don't just look at this Baisher's usual naturally slow-witted face. Baisher looked cute all day long, but in truth it is very smart. Baisher arrogantly stretched, twisted its fat butt and secretly thought, who told you guys to ignore the atmosphere? This time you guys are really unlucky. Little White gnashed its teeth. It always felt that if it doesn't beat someone up once in a while, its claws would itch. Little Black and Little White glanced at each other. It looks like they can't let Baisher, this little baby, continue to be so arrogant. The next day, Bailey Hongzhuang left the house only after she finished refining the channel opening pills. She slowly walked up to the third floor. Bailey Hongzhuang knocked on Dongfang Yu's door but found that no one was there. Her ink-black bright phoenix eyes showed a trace of puzzlement. Could it be that Dongfang Yu was out? Just when Bailey Hongzhuang was contemplating this matter, the door behind her suddenly opened. You're looking for Dongfang? The words were slow and indifferent. Other than Gong Shaoqing, who else could this be? Bailey Hongzhuang turned around, slightly nodded and smiled charmingly. Since you're here, it's the same thing. Gong Shaoqing looked slightly puzzled. He opened the door and indicated to Bailey Hongzhuang to come inside. When Bailey Hongzhuang entered, she discovered that Dongfang Yu and Lu Qingyue were also there. She couldn't help but show a touch of surprise in her eyes. You were looking for me? Dongfang Yu stood up, a smile on his face as he looked at Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang's beautiful face softened. So it happens that you're all here. I came to give something to you guys. It was Yin Yang pouch earlier and Cosmos pouch in the glossary. From her Cosmos pouch, Bailey Hongzhuang retrieved 3 white porcelain bottles. She handed one to each person. These channel opening pills should be helpful to you guys. Hearing these words, Dongfang Yu and the others looked at Bailey Hongzhuang in surprise. Channel opening pill. This was currently the most popular pull in the Azure Water School. Its value need not to be said. Bailey Hongzhuang actually gifted it to them. One shouldn't accept a reward without merit. We can't take these pills. Gong Shaoqing said deeply. Channel opening pill. It held extreme attraction to all cultivators. They didn't know how the channel opening pills fell into Bailey Hongzhuang's hands, but they couldn't accept it for no reason. Originally, they also had some thoughts of taking part in the auction 3 days later. The highest bidder wins. This was also very normal. Only, who would expect that Bailey Hongzhuang would directly gift it to them? This was the pill that many cultivators longed for. Since I came to the Azure Water School, you guys have always taken good care of me. That's something that I can't repay. So don't refuse this. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled enchantingly, placing the white porcelain bottles in their hands. To me, the channel opening pill is only a grade 2 pill. You guys don't have to worry about it so much. To other cultivators, the channel-opening pill was a pill that had already been long lost to time. It was a priceless treasure wasn't available on any market. However, to someone who possessed the pill formula like her, it was only an ordinary grade 2 pill. Lu Qingyue looked at the channel-opening pill in her hand. She could hardly hide the shock in her heart. When the news of the channel-opening pill spread out, she had questioned her master for information. She also read through ancient texts to look up the characteristics of the channel-opening pill. There was no difference between the books and the pill in her hands. Only, the channel-opening pill had long been lost for so many years. How could it have appeared in Bailey Hongzhuang's possession? Chapter 310. Whether it was the lost vibrating needle technique or the lost channel-opening pill, they were both extraordinary. Who on earth was Bailey Hongzhuang? Others may not know of the channel-opening pill's significance, but as a pill master herself, she was very clear. To possess the pill formula for the channel-opening pill is equivalent to possession an incomparably precious treasure. Each and every pill formula was extremely precious, not to mention that this was the kind of pill formula that everyone needed and was also lost long ago. Gong Shaoqing stared hard at Bailey Hongzhuang. His eyes were like bright stars and filled with a surge of darkness. His heart could hardly stop shaking. Bailey Hongzhuang, how do you have so many channel-opening pills? Amongst the three, Dongfang Yu had the closest relationship with Bailey Hongzhuang. So naturally it was he who asked Bailey Hongzhuang at this moment. Lu Qingyue's gaze also fell on Bailey Hongzhuang. Her clear eyes held uncertainty and hesitation. Hongzhuang, you are a pill master. All along, she had thought that there was no possibility that Bailey Hongzhuang could cultivate martial arts, study medical skills along with learning refining skills at the same time. One person's concentration could not possibly be split 3 ways equally. However, whether it was Bailey Hongzhuang taking out so many returning qi pills at the Luoyun mountain range or taking out the channel-opening pills now. If she was an ordinary cultivator, there was no way she'd be able to prepare so many pills. Even if one was abundantly wealthy, then he'd still wouldn't be able to buy so many channel-opening pills, right? As a result, there was only one possibility left: Bailey Hongzhuang is a pill master. However, towards this conclusion, Lu Qingyue still felt that it was inconceivable. That's correct. I'm a pill master. She had a pleasant smile on her exquisite face. Bailey Hongzhuang would of course admit it. To her, this wasn't a secret. Hearing these words, Dongfang Yu, Gong Shaoqing and Lu Qingyue all turned their eyes to Bailey Hongzhuang at the same time. They had suspicions in their hearts about this. However, when Bailey Hongzhuang admitted it, inevitably their hearts still shook. Was this still a human? Your concentration is too abnormal. Lu Qingyue's usually gentle face was slightly stiff. Hongzhuang, this channel-opening pill. It wasn't refined by you, right? Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. Yes, it was refined by me. Gulp. Dongfang Yu swallowed a mouthful of saliva, looking at Bailey Hongzhuang as if he was looking at a monster. He found it hard to believe that a 15-year-old girl could have such high achievements in so many different areas. It was too heaven-defying. Gong Shaoqing's usually stony face also had a trace of shock on it at this moment. With Bailey Hongzhuang's age, as long as she has true ability, she would be a genius with such achievements in either medical skills or pill refinement. And yet, Bailey Hongzhuang had achievements in all 3 areas that everyone would be envious of. You can imagine the shock they felt in their hearts. Lu Qingyue opened her mouth yet didn't know what she should say. The channel-opening pill was a grade 2 pill. This meant that Bailey Hongzhuang was a rank 2 pill master. She had only just passed the rank 2 pill master exam at the Pill Master Association this year and was already considered a genius by many seniors. Compared to her, Bailey Hongzhuang was a year younger and yet had already reached the level of a rank 2 pill master. This 1 year didn't seem like a large gap, however the gap in talent wasn't slight. If she was a genius, then what was Bailey Hongzhuang? She didn't dare to think about it. If Bailey Hongzhuang didn't research medical skills and concentrated solely on pill refinement, then what sort of achievement would she have now? For the first time, a proud daughter of heaven like her felt ashamed. Chapter 311. At that moment, Dongfang Yu no longer felt the burden he had before as he took the channel opening pill. The thing that pill masters did not lack was pills. As long as they had the herbs, they would be able to refine invaluable pills. Such a heaven-defying genius was actually ridiculed by everyone in the imperial city as a waste. Are those people in the imperial city blind? Dongfang Yu felt a sense of helplessness in his heart. If General Bailey knew the results Bailey Hongzhuang had today, he really wondered what the general would think. Hongzhuang, have you taken the Pill Master exam at the Pill Masters Guild? Lu Qingyue asked. Not yet. A beautiful smile blossomed on Bailey Hongzhuang's face. She had heard Jiqing talking about the Pill Masters Guild before and had also planned to go to the Pill Masters Guild to take the exam. However, she had not had the time to go recently. Lu Qingyue was even more confused. Her master told her before that there was a possibility that a strong power was backing Bailey Hongzhuang. No matter what angle you look at it from, Bailey Hongzhuang wasn't an ordinary person. So why hasn't she taken the Pill Masters Guild's exam yet? It provided great convenience to Pill Masters once they've joined the Pill Masters Guild. If you have time, why don't you go and take the exams at the Pill Masters Guild? Lu Qingyue smiled slightly. What benefits are there to passing the exam? Bailey Hongzhuang asked with beautiful eyes that clearly differentiate between black and white. After all, she had no interest in the status as a ranked pill master. Listening to Bailey Hongzhuang's words, Lu Qingyue had doubts in her heart. Bailey Hongzhuang was definitely not ordinary. How could she not know anything about the Pill Masters Guild? The Pill Masters Guild has a really strong system. The guild's pill masters have priority on many rare herbs, so it is of great convenience to us. Then, what do you have to contribute in return? Bailey Hongzhuang arched her eyebrow. Since the Pill Masters Guild provided them with convenience in getting herbs, then accordingly they also had to fulfill certain obligations. The Pill Masters Guild doesn't have many rigid requirements. Only that when the guild needs a certain pill, you would help refine it and they would give you sufficient compensation. Her ink-black phoenix eyes held a trace of deep understanding. Bailey Hongzhuang immediately understood the meaning of the Pill Masters Guild's existence. Pill formulas are the most precious things each pill master owns. Thus, even though there are many pill masters, not every pill master would be able to refine a certain kind of pill. With the existence of the Pill Masters Guild, there was another channel to seek pills. The guild could directly ask a pill master that knew how to refine that pill, provide sufficient compensation and get the pill. As a result, pills would then have one more channel to circulate from. This was a win-win situation and pill masters aren't too restricted. Even if the guild asks a pill master to help, the pill master could refuse. However, most of the pill masters enjoy the benefits of the guild, they usually wouldn't refuse. I understand. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved into an elegant smile, a decision made in her heart. Since she is going to auction the channel opening pills at the school, it was best to get the recognition of the Pill Masters Guild. Even though she doesn't care, it would be great to render people unable to denounce it. After a few exchanges between the four, Bailey Hongzhuang left the special enrollment student dormitory and the Azure Water School to go to the Pill Masters Guild. Chapter 312. Apart from Bailey Hongzhuang, who else will be able to wear a white dress so elegantly, as if she didn't belong on this earth? So as soon as Bailey Hongzhuang appeared, everyone recognized her. The crowd's voices were filled with curiosity and excitement. When everyone heard about the channel opening pills appearing on the auction, everybody knew that Bailey Hongzhuang still had even more channel opening pills. Nowadays, a channel opening pill fetched a high price. But since Bailey Hongzhuang was only planning to auction off 3 channel opening pills to principal Shui's cultivators, they didn't have any chance. Some of the merchants began to stir, wanting to get close to Bailey Hongzhuang. If Bailey Hongzhuang had more channel opening pills, it'd be a huge opportunity. Ah! Master, you've really become famous now. A trace of excitement flashed in Little Black's eyes. He seemed to see bags of gold flying towards them. Channel opening pills were very important to cultivators, it was something almost everybody needed. But since the pill had been lost, everybody could only endure without it. Almost every practitioner needs it. Before being lost, everyone can only endure. Now that it reappeared, even though it was only a second-grade pill, it was just wanted as a top-grade pill. Bailey Honghang raised her lips into a shallow smile as her eyes surveyed the surroundings. Why not let them see it? At this moment, a pot-bellied middle-aged man walked next to Bailey Honghang, his narrow eyes filled with a professional light. "Miss Bailey, could I possibly negotiate a deal with you?" His face had a big smile on it as he looked at Bailey Hongzhuang fawningly. Bailey Honghang looked at the man. As soon as he approached her, she had already guessed his intentions. "I'm only planning to sell 3 of them for now. I don't plan to do anything else with the rest." The 2 blunt sentences showed Bailey Honghang's attitude. Right now, she was mainly focused on cultivating, and wasn't all that interested in money. To her, the most important thing was to get points to cultivate in the cultivation pagoda. Money was only a way to improve her cultivation. She didn't intend to neglect the root and pursue the tip, neglect fundamentals and concentrate on details. The middle-aged man immediately understood what Bailey Honghang meant and did not pressure her anymore, but instead laughed. "Miss Bailey, if there is ever a need, just contact me." The man told Bailey Honghang that he will have left a shop in Azure Water City after he leaves and that his purpose had been achieved. The group of merchants saw that the middle-aged man left empty-handed, meaning Bailey Honghang did not intend to sell any more pills and thus did not make a move. The Pill Masters Guild and the Mercenary Trade Union weren't too far away. Usually, many mercenaries would be in the mountains collecting herbs to sell to the Pill Masters Guild, especially the rare ones. Is not far away. On weekdays, many mercenaries will be in the mountains to collect herbs for the Association of Pharmacists, especially some precious medicinal herbs. The Pill Masters Guild was the richest organization on Xingxian continent, and every pharmacist is equal to a huge amount of treasures, and the price of selling medicinal herbs to the Pill Masters Guild was always fair. Chapter 313 Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the tall and imposing building in front of her. The solemn and magnificent image of a pill furence was placed on top of glazed tiles that reflected bright rays of light. It exuded boundless nobility and pride. It was akin to the status Pill Masters in Xingxian continent had. The Pill Masters Guild wasn't as lively as the Military Engineer Union. With a kind of aura that was solemn and noble, not many people were inside, but the bystanders were all full of respect as they watched those that walked out from the entrance of the guild. So, the special position Pill Masters had in Xingxian continent could be seen. Standing in the middle of the Pill Masters Guild, Bailey Hongzhuang sized up her surroundings. The interior of the Pill Masters Guild appeared to be a slightly oppressing black space, filled with a solemn atmosphere. You can't help but be infected with this atmosphere the moment you walk in, becoming completely meticulous and serious. The Pill Masters Guild's front desk was straight ahead. It was a huge and long black table facing the door. A gentle lady was standing right in front of it, paying attention to each and every person entering the guild. The guild was quite spacious. It's just that there were so few people inside, so it felt very empty. Inside the guild, a few people wearing black robes walked past. These were the Pill Master robes that represented glory. If you wore this robe, you would receive respect from countless people when you walk into a crowd. Every Pill Master treated this robe as a precious treasure that signified glory. However, most of the Pill Masters wearing these robes were middle-aged. This was because it was very difficult to become a Pill Master. Specifically, the time and concentration you needed to spend isn't little at all. Thus, by the time you've gained a certain degree of achievement, you would already be quite old. Lu Qingyue was well deserved of the title of Genius Pill Master, becoming a rank 2 Pill Master at such a young age. Even in Xingxian continent, there weren't many that could achieve such a thing. Bailey Hongzhuang slowly walked up to the front desk. The lady at the front desk gave a polite smile as she saw Bailey Hongzhuang come over. "Young lady, are you here to sell herbs or to buy pills?" When young cultivators came to the Pill Masters Guild, they were basically here for only one of 2 reasons. Thus the receptionist directly asked this question. Bailey Hongzhuang slightly curved her lips, a smile of peerless beauty on her face, and said with a gently and harmonious voice, "I'm here to take the Pill Master exam." Hearing this, the receptionist sent a doubtful look at Bailey Hongzhuang, as if not daring to believe Bailey Hongzhuang's words. "Young lady, you're here to take the Pill Master exam?" The receptionist asked unbelievingly. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded and said with certainty, "That's correct." Seeing how Bailey Hongzhuang replied so affirmatively, the receptionist was somewhat shocked. Though she quickly regained her composure and said, "To take the Pill Master exam, you have to go to the second floor. You'll have to pay 1,000 gold coins to get the exam token before you can participate in the exam." 1,000 gold coins. To ordinary commoners, this was a huge figure. However, to Pill Masters, this was not a daunting figure. The reason why Pill Masters needed to pay 1,000 gold coins is to prevent some people from causing trouble. After all, a Pill Master needs to oversee the examinees during the exam. At that moment, a young girl around Bailey Hongzhuang's age walked over. The girl was wearing a goose-yellow dress. Her complexion was clean, fair and smooth. She had a mesmerizing palm-sized oval face, but her eyes were full of arrogance. Her gaze shifted to the side. No matter if it was her gaze or her demeanor, everything exuded a strong arrogance. It was as if ordinary people were simply beneath her notice. "I want to take the Pill Master exam." The girl said these words and directly placed 1,000 gold coins on the front desk, waiting for the receptionist to hand her an exam token. Chapter 314 Miss Wei. The attendant immediately bowed before immediately handing her an identification token. She clearly recognized Wei Meidai. "Since there's two girls wanting to take the exam, I'll immediately notify the masters." The attendant smiled. Hearing her words, Wei Meidai raised an eyebrow as she turned to look at Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang frowned slightly. Wei Meidai's gaze was filled with disdain and provocation, as if she was some high and mighty person looking at a petty and low commoner. It was like the other person didn't exist, and giving her a glance was already a great favor. She had seen many arrogant people like Bailey Yuyan and Shen Yuanhuan, but this was still the first time she saw somebody like Wei Meidai. She was somebody capable of making others feel disgust and loathing at first glance. "Who's your master?" Wei Meidai's eyes flickered with contempt. There weren't a lot of young Pill Masters in Azure Water City, so not many dared to take the exam. She was very familiar with the Pill Masters Guild and this was the first time she saw such a woman. That woman ought to just be some random no-name Pill Master's disciple, thinking she was so amazing just because she understood a little piece and wanting to take the exam believing it was easy. Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at Wei Meidai indifferently before turning her eyes back to the front, not bothering to reply to her. Unreasonable people will never get the respect of others. Wei Meidai saw how Bailey Hongzhuang only glanced at her and didn't reply. Her beautiful face immediately turned angry. This useless no-name cultivator without any backing actually dared to refuse her face? "Hey, I'm talking to you." Wei Meidai raised her voice, looking at Bailey Hongzhuang irritatedly. "Do I have to reply just because you're talking to me?" Bailey Hongzhuang spoke lightly. Wei Meidai's shout had already caused everyone in the guild to look over. The Pill Masters Guild was always quiet, but Wei Meidai's words completely wrecked the silence. Everyone frowned as they turned to look at her, but immediately understood when they saw who it was. Obviously, since Wei Meidai knew the Pill Masters Guild well, the people in the guild were also familiar with her as well. Wei Meidai ignored the stares as she glared at Bailey Hongzhuang. "Do you know who I am?" In the entire Pill Masters Guild, she didn't care about anyone but Lu Qinhua. Nobody in their generation dared disrespect her, but this woman actually dared to treat her so. There was no way she was letting her off. "Not interested." Bailey Hongzhuang's voice was lazy and uncaring, treating Wei Meidai as no more than an annoying fly, not worthy of her attention. Wei Meidai's face quickly turned red. She should have had the upper hand with Bailey Hongzhuang, but instead got suppressed. Every sentence she spoke was blocked, leaving her feeling choked. "You!" Wei Meidai's chest rose up and down, filled with anger. Before, if she said something, nobody else would dare to talk back. Today was the first time she encountered such a person. Do you know the consequences of offending me? Wei Meidai narrowed her eyes, her ink-black almond-shaped eyes glittering with malice. This woman dared to let her lose face in front of so many people. Truly hateful. Bailey Honghang raised a brow, a provocative smile on her delicate face. Do you want to get beaten up? Chapter 315. Wei Meidai was stunned. Obviously it was her threatening Bailey Honghang, so how'd it turn into Bailey Hongzhuang threatening her? When the bystanders saw this, their faces looked as if they were excited to watch a good show. They always see Wei Meidai bullying others, but for the first time, somebody was actually bullying her. I see that you need a beating. Bailey Hongzhuang's words completely exploded Wei Meidai's anger. You could only see Wei Meidai's face turn a bright red as her eyes filled with fury, a slap ruthlessly flying towards Bailey Honghang. Seeing this, Bailey Honghang's eyes turned cold. Her right hand moved like lightning as she grabbed the incoming hand, slapping Wei Meidai with her other one. Paw! There was a clear sound, especially distinct in the Pill Masters Guild's quiet silence. Time seemed to freeze for a split second as the surrounding people widened their eyes. They didn't dare to believe that the one to get slapped was actually Wei Meidai. Who is this young lady? Daring to slap Wei Meidai. I have never seen her before. Not only is her appearance outstanding, her bearing is also out of the ordinary. She's probably not a simple person. Didn't you guys hear about that girl who had the channel opening pills, Bailey Honghang? A white dress and a refined, elegant beauty. This person looks a lot like her. Once Bailey Honghang's name was mentioned, everybody suddenly understood. The people in the Pill Masters Guild weren't interested in cultivators, they only cared about concocting pills. Thus, they knew nothing about Azure Water School's new talents. But since Bailey Honghang had the channel opening pill, she was well known in the Pill Masters Guild. But none of them thought that Bailey Hongzhuang would be so young. Your words are right, this miss probably is Bailey Honghang. Now knowing Bailey Honghang's identity, the crowd's eyes turned even more excited to watch the show. It seemed that it'll be a very interesting scene. Wei Meidai was still in a daze, her right hand bursting with pain. Underneath the burning pain, there was great humiliation. She had lived arrogantly for many years and it was always her beating others. She had never, ever been slapped. But, this woman actually dared to beat her? Wei Meidai's eyes immediately turned insane. The curious gazes staring at her only served to further enrage her. I'll kill you. Wei Meidai was extremely furious. Her figure flickered as she charged at Bailey Honghang. Wei Meidai's hand was stretched forward. Bailey Honghang knew right away that her cultivation was extremely weak since she had always focused on creating pills and wasn't a threat at all. She was simply incapable of bringing her harm. Bang! Bailey Hongzhuang directly grabbed Wei Meidai's hand with both hands and pushed her against the table below her. An enchanting smile broke out on her beautiful face, but the light in her eyes was as sharp as a knife. Everything was as fast as lightning, her voice chillingly cold. Mark my words and don't disturb me anymore. Otherwise, I'll teach you what regret truly means. Wei Meidai was stunned, terror on her delicate face as stared at Bailey Honghang. Her whole body felt ice cold. Seeing the fear and nervousness in Wei Meidai's eyes, Bailey Honghang released her hand, her face indifferent as she stepped away. She usually avoided looking for trouble but at the same time, she was also never afraid of it. Chapter 316. Wei Meidai rubbed her hand in pain. The strength Bailey Honghang had put in earlier really wasn't light. Her wrist had already turned a deep purple color. Her dark eyes twinkled with resentment. Wei Meidai truly hated Bailey Honghang. She had never lost so much face. But Bailey Honghang's strength made her fearful. She didn't dare to be rash, otherwise, she was afraid that Bailey Honghang really would hurt her. I'll let you off for now, but this debt, I'll definitely pay back 100-fold. Wei Maidai swore in her heart. The attendant walked over towards them very quickly. She could keenly sense something had happened after she left. Wei Maidai was no longer as haughty as before. I've already informed the examination masters, you two can go to the second floor. The attendant said smilingly. Bailey Honghang turned to go to the second floor. Everybody watched as Bailey Honghang and Wei Maidai walked away, immediately understanding why Bailey Hongzhuang had come to the Pill Masters Guild. Interest suddenly appeared in their eyes. In all of Azure Water City, only 3 youths had come to take the Pill Masters examination: Lu Qingyue, Wei Maidai, and now finally, Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Honghang had just gotten on the second floor when she saw 3 bold words not so far away: examination hall. Wei Maidai walked in front of Bailey Honghang. Her familiar actions seemed to be her telling Bailey Honghang that her identity in the Pill Masters Guild wasn't ordinary. What a pity, as Bailey Hongzhuang wasn't the slightest bit interested. When Bailey Honghang and Wei Maidai entered the examination hall, a middle-aged man was already standing there waiting for them. The man was wearing black Pill Master robes. 2 brightly glinting stars were pinned on it, representing his status as a rank 2 Pill Master. Teacher Tong. Wei Maidai smiled as she called his name. Tong Qingyuan nodded slightly. Wei girl, today marks your 3rd time participating in the Pill Master examination. I'll definitely succeed this time. Wei Maidai's eyes shone brightly, a firm light in her eyes. This time, she had really trained hard. She was sure that she'd be able to pass. Seeing Wei Maidai's confidence, Tong Qingyuan smiled affectionately. Your master didn't come today. Master said he'd come a bit later. Tong Qingyuan's gaze landed on Bailey Hongzhuang. Has this girl also come to take the 1st grade Pill Master's examination? Nope. Bailey Hongzhuang shook her head. Wei Maidai looked at Bailey Hongzhuang, startled. She had clearly heard the waiter say Bailey Honghang was also taking the Pill Master's examination. Wei Maidai was speechless. Could she have made a mistake? In that case, why did she come here to the examination hall? Tong Qingyuan was also confused. He really didn't know what this girl came here for then. But Bailey Honghang's next words made Tong Qingyuan and Wei Maidai turn stunned. I came here to take the 2nd grade Pill Master examination. Wei Maidai's gentle face couldn't help but turn astonished. Bailey Hongzhuang looked to only be 15 or 16, but she said that she actually wanted to take the rank 2 Pill Master exam. Wei Maidai was stunned for another moment before bursting out into loud laughter. Huh, what a joke. You actually think you can take the 2nd grade Pill Master examination? Chapter 317. Wei Maidai's face was filled with disbelief. Since she had found her talent in refining pills, she instantly became infatuated with the profession. In her eyes, other than Lu Qinyue's abnormal heaven-defying talent, there was nobody above her. Little girl, did you already pass the 1st grade Pill Master exam? Tong Qingyuan couldn't help but question Bailey Honghang. Such geniuses were always rare, but it wasn't as if there was none. At the very least, their Pill Masters Guild already has one such living example. Lu Qinyue was Azure Water City's rarely seen genius Pill Master. Bailey Honghang shook her head slightly. I haven't. Wei Maidai immediately started to coldly mock her. Hey, even if you want to talk big, it should at least be within limits. A 2nd grade Pill Master, are you dreaming? Because Tong Qingyuan was still present, Wei Maidai regained her courage. She was sure that Bailey Hongzhuang wouldn't dare to face Tong Qingyuan up front. Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at Wei Maidai coldly. Just because you don't have the skill doesn't mean that I don't. In the arrogant sentence, Bailey Hongzhuang's tone was flat and natural. The words were obviously provoking, but coming from Bailey Honghang, it only sounded indifferent and ordinary. Tong Qingyuan's eyes changed slightly. Bailey Honghang's way of speaking was worth thinking over. This tone wasn't one used when 2 equal forces were sneering at each other. Bailey Honghang's manner of speaking signified that she simply didn't care about Wei Maidai at all. It was contempt from the bottom of her heart. Wei Meidai was always arrogant. He never thought that he would one day meet a girl even more haughty than her. Are you saying my disciple doesn't have any ability? An angry voice immediately called out after Bailey Honghaung's words from behind her. Wei Meidai's eyes brightened. She instantly regained her guts, that trace of worry disappearing as she glared at Bailey Hongzhuang, filled with pride and resentment. Master! Wei Meidai loudly called out, looking at Bailey Hongzhuang provokingly. Since her master appeared, why couldn't she act arrogant around this woman? Gu Zhangyan's mood was originally very good. His treasured disciple was taking the first-grade pill master exam. This time he had watched Wei Meidai train very hard and believed that as long as she showed a good performance, Wei Meidai would definitely pass the pill master exam. But he didn't expect that the first thing he heard when he entered the examination hall was a young lady saying his own disciple had no skill. If his very own disciple didn't have any skill, who in this world did? Gu Zhangyan's heart was filled with displeasure. Nowadays, young people truly were newborn calves unafraid of the tiger. What identity did she have, daring to say those words? Bailey Honghaung turned around to see Wei Meidai's master. It was an old man about 60, with a full, grizzled, grey beard. His face was laced with wrinkles and was red from anger. Arrogance was etched in between his brows, his whole body emitting a distinguishable aura. The old man's arrogance was very different from Shenyuan Huan's inborn arrogance. Rather, his was an arrogance acquired through practice and customs. As long as one was a pill master, their bodies would always emit such a bit of arrogance and disdain. Because pill masters were such an up and high profession, they were always used to cultivators chasing after them. With only a glance, Bailey Hongzhuang instantly knew that Wei Meidai's arrogance was caused by this man before her. Chapter 318 Master Gu, you came. When Tong Qingyuan saw Gu Zhangyan come, a polite and respectful smile immediately appeared on his face. Although he and Gu Zhangyan were both pill masters, Gu Zhangyan was a third-grade pill mazer while he was only a second-grade one. Besides, Gu Zhangyan was older than him and was his senior. Gu Zhangyan nodded his head slightly before locking his eyes on Bailey Hongzhuang. What is your name? Daring to talk to my disciple so rudely. His sullen voice was angry and questioning. Gu Zhangyan had always protected his name, and how could he let her go when she had even insulted his most prided upon disciple like that? No matter if it was Feng Bo country or Clear Flame country, very few around Wei Meidai's age could take the pill master's examination like her. Only Huan Chuyo's disciple Lu Qingyue truly had enough talent to beat Wei Meidai. Other people can't even come close. Although this girl's appearance was impressive, daring to look down on his disciple, she had to pay the price. Wei Meidai stood behind Gu Zhangyan, a prideful smile on her beautiful face. She looked at her master. Let's see if this woman still dared to be as arrogant as before. Bailey Hongzhuang frowned slightly, a trace of coldness fluttering past her inky black eyes. The thing she disliked most was such a high and lofty, arrogant, bossy appearance, as if he and other people were on completely different levels. Since the other person was so rude, she naturally didn't need to be polite either. Respect was something both parties needed. A trifling third-grade pill master didn't have the qualifications to make her reply. Bailey Honghaung glanced at Gu Zhangyan and Wei Meidai, not replying. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang continue her arrogant act, Wei Meidai was stunned. Did this woman not know her master's identity? Anyone in Azure Water City would treat her master with due respect as soon as they saw him. So how could this woman from who knows where have the impertinence to ignore her master? Hey, my master is asking you something. You dare to ignore him? Wei Meidai raised her voice at Bailey Hongzhuang, her appearance as if Bailey Hongzhuang had done something unbearably ungraceful. Bailey Hongzhuang's face was cold, her inky black eyes estranged and indifferent. You questioning me doesn't mean I have to reply. Her cold, clear voice was sweet and pleasant, but her words made the scene freeze. Tong Qingyuan stared at Bailey Hongzhuang, astonished. Although he thought that this was mostly due to Wei Meidai's arrogance, Bailey Hongzhuang's rudeness to Gu Songyun was truly out of his expectations. The crowd watching was also shocked. Wasn't this Bailey Hongzhuang really too audacious? Usually, nobody would dare to speak against Gu Songyun and Wei Meidai in the Pill Masters Guild. Even in all of Azure Water City, there wasn't anyone who dared to slight them. But now, Bailey Hongzhuang actually dared to face Gu Songyun so rudely. It had to be said, her courage alone was admirable. Master Gu is famous for his narrow-mindedness. Bailey Hongzhuang really dares to offend him. Wei Meidai's usual actions are always spoiled by Master Gu. Bailey Hongzhuang's actions actually make me a bit happy. But offending Master Gu, Bailey Hongzhuang definitely won't have a good time in Azure Water City. Everyone sighed, looking at Bailey Hongzhuang regretfully. Chapter 319. A trace of anger appeared in Gu Songyun's turbid eyes. He had stayed in Azure Water City for many years. Whoever saw him would always call him Master. For him to speak to a youth was their honor, yet this girl actually dared to be so disrespectful. Don't you know that it's unwise to offend a Pill Master? His cold, gloomy voice held a warning. Bailey Hongzhuang's actions had clearly already angered him. Tong Qingyuan's heart sunk. Master Gu wasn't as tolerant as Master Huan. Even a trivial action would make him hold a long-time grudge. Bailey Hongzhuang had completely offended Gu Songyun today. Although he didn't know Bailey Hongzhuang, he also didn't want her to get such a big enemy just because of this. Thinking of this, Tong Qingyuan glanced at Bailey Hongzhuang meaningfully, indicating she should say a few pacifying words. After all, Gu Songyun was the elder here. It wouldn't be good for him to deal with Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang saw Tong Qingyuan's indication and couldn't help but get a favorable impression of him in her heart. She and Tong Qingyuan were total strangers, but he still tried to warn her. From this, it could be seen that he wasn't a bad person. But, wanting her to speak pacifying words to Gu Songyun? Impossible. Don't you know that it's also an unwise idea to offend a new, talented Pill Master? Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved into an enchanting smile, her cold voice filled with menace. She had no need to pay attention to a third-grade Pill Master. Right now, she was already a second-grade Pill Master. As long as she works hard and breaks through in her cultivation, refining third-grade pills wouldn't be a problem at all. So, Gu Songyun's words weren't the least bit threatening to her. As Bailey Hongzhuang dropped those words, Gu Songyun and Wei Meidai's faces suddenly changed. They were sure Bailey Hongzhuang would be begging for forgiveness, but instead, Bailey Hongzhuang actually turned around and threatened Gu Songyun. Gu Songyun's anger had already reached an exploding point, but to keep his image, he could only sneer coldly, "Since you're so courageous, announce your name. I want to see what confidence lets you be so rude and unreasonable." Rude and unreasonable? Little Black's face was mocking. I think this guy's the one who's shameless. Right? When people become cheap, they become shameless. Since no one wants to deal with shameless people, they become invincible. This Gu Songyun and Wei Meidai are birds of a feather. Little White's face was full of disdain. Master, they definitely are planning to get even with you. Little Black and Little White showed displeased looks on their faces, yet Bailey Hongzhuang still looked indifferent. With this kind of substandard guy, she didn't feel he was worth getting angry over. I am Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang was not perturbed, hiding neither given nor surname. She was not at all afraid of Gu Songyun's retaliation. Hearing Bailey Hongzhuang's name, the expression on Tong Qingyuan's face changed. A few days earlier, Bailey Hongzhuang's name spread throughout the Azure Water City. This was all because the long-lost channel opening pill had showed up in her possession. What the Pill Master Guild paid most attention to was obviously pills, not to mention that it was a long-thought-to-be-lost pill. After hearing this piece of news, they also thought of getting in touch with Bailey Hongzhuang. It was just that the Azure Water School had its own set of rules. No matter which organization you were from, you couldn't go into the school to find a student. Unexpectedly, Bailey Hongzhuang actually came to the Pill Master Guild. These past days, Gu Songyun had been studying pills behind closed doors and thus did not know of the matter of the channel opening pill. And so he also did not know of Bailey Hongzhuang's name. Bailey Hongzhuang, I will remember this name. Chapter 320. Gu Songyun's voice was icy as he stared at her angrily. There were too many people watching for him to do anything. He can't explode here. But he had plenty of ways to deal with Bailey Honghang. Suddenly, a familiar and surprised voice rang in everyone's ear. Bailey Honghang. Bailey Honghang turned to see Azure Water School's vice principal Huan Chuyu slowly walking over, a trace of a smile on his kind and tolerant face. Huan Chuyu's impression of Bailey Honghang was very deep. The young girl had actually mastered the long-gone vibrating needle technique, a truly stunning feat. Vice principal Bailey Honghang greeted him respectfully. Seeing Bailey Honghang call Huan Chuyu vice principal, Gu Songyun could immediately tell Bailey Honghang's identity. Old Huan, she's one of your students? Huan Chuyu nodded his head smilingly. Right, Bailey Honghang is one of Azure Water School's new students this year. No wonder, truly a newborn calf. Gu Songyun sneered, his voice filled with resentment. Old Gu, your words are completely wrong. Huan Chuyu waved his hand. Bailey Honghang isn't a youth that doesn't understand anything. Seeing Huan Chuyu speak like that, Gu Songyun thought he was only trying to protect Azure Water School's students. Such a young girl daring to talk big, isn't that exactly a newborn calf not fearing the tiger? She doesn't know just how big the world truly is. Huan Chuyu inspected Gu Songyun and Bailey Honghang. From Gu Songyun's thorny attitude, it was clear that the two were in a conflict. Old Gu probably doesn't know, but in the field of healing, Bailey Honghang is entirely deserving of being called a great master. Huan Chuyu's face was serious, his voice sincere without the slightest trace of a lie. Everybody was surprised as they listened to Huan Chuyu praise Bailey Honghang. In Azure Water City, Huan Chuyu was a truly great master that everybody respected. It was truly a great honor for Bailey Honghang to be praised so highly by Huan Chuyu. Old Huan, what do you mean? Gu Songyun's face was still unhappy, a trace of doubt in his eyes. He and Huan Chuyu knew each other for many years, and he understood the other's temperament very well. Since Huan Chuyu said that, it shouldn't be a baseless claim. Wei Meidai looked at Bailey Honghang in annoyance. She really didn't know what background Bailey Hongzhuang had, to get such praises from Master Huan. Truly hateful. Bailey Honghang is a doctor who was able to remove the Lulin python's poison. Huan Chuyu smiled indifferently, a trace of mystery on his calm face. Everybody's faces changed when they heard Huan Chuyu's words. Lulin pythons were a huge taboo amongst cultivators. Nobody wanted to ever encounter a Lulin python, because if they were to be poisoned by it, there was very little chance they could survive. But did Master Huan say just now that Bailey Hongzhuang actually removed the Lulin python's poison? What idea was that? Gu Songyun naturally knew about the difficulty of dispelling the Lulin python's poison. Even he was helpless in front of it. Bailey Hongzhuang, this little girl, could really cure the poison? Old Huan, you're exaggerating, right? Gu Songyun asked skeptically, his words probing. If other people said it, then he definitely wouldn't believe them. But since Huan Chuyu said it, he had to believe it. Chapter 321. Cui Haoyan, one of our special enrollment students, was bitten by the Lulin python. If Bailey Honghang didn't help save him, Cui Haoyan would have died. Huan Chuyu still smiled. Although he didn't know what great master was behind Bailey Honghang, he was very optimistic about her future. Both her character and personal conduct were worthy of admiration, so right now he had no apprehensions about praising her. Many people knew about Cui Haoyan's accomplishments in the special enrollment class. Everyone was surprised when they heard Cui Haoyan's name being mentioned. Since he had even brought up Cui Haoyan, it must be true. I didn't expect it was actually Bailey Honghang who had cured Cui Haoyan's injury. Right, it's no wonder that Zhang Yunfeng thanked Bailey Honghang. It's truly unexpected for Bailey Honghang to have such great medicinal skills at her young age. Tong Qingyuan sighed with admiration as he said smilingly, "Before I had thought Cui Haoyan could only go to the godly doctor in Fengbo country's imperial city. I didn't expect for Miss Bailey to have actually cured him first." Huan Chuyu laughed brightly. "The godly doctor in Fengbo country's imperial city is Bailey Hongzhuang." Hearing this, everybody stared at Bailey Honghang, dumbstruck. Although Godly Doctor Square was far away in the imperial city, rumors of it had spread far. Everyone knew that the Godly Doctor in Godly Doctor Square could cure the most difficult cases under heaven and that her age was very young. Nobody thought that it'd be Bailey Hongzhuang. Wasn't her age just a little too young? I misheard, right? Tong Qingyuan's face was stunned. "The Godly Doctor is Miss Bailey?" Since ancient times, the most famous heroes have always been young. Huan Chuyu smiled lightly. Gu Zhangyan also heard about the Godly Doctor's reputation, but he truly couldn't link Godly Doctor Square and Bailey Hongzhuang together. Remembering how he had called Bailey Honghang a newborn calf, he couldn't help but feel somewhat ashamed. Wei Meidai stared blankly. She didn't dare to believe what she heard just now as the truth. Godly Doctor Square's master, that was a real master in the field of medicine. Bailey Hongzhuang. How could it be? Bailey Hongzhuang's beautiful face had a slight smile on it. Even though Huan Chuyu praised her so much, she hadn't shown any pride. Everyone nodded inwardly. This was an example everybody should follow. If everyone acted like Wei Meidai, not knowing the other's identity, who knew when they'd disappear? Even if Bailey Hongzhuang's exceptional in medicinal skill, she shouldn't be as great of a genius with refining pills, right? Gu Zhangyan was still very arrogant. Although a godly doctor was truly extraordinary, a pill master was still obviously better. Since Bailey Honghang held such high accomplishments in the field of healing, she shouldn't be that good in pill refining. After all, a person's energy was limited. Hearing this, Huan Chuyo's eyes flashed with a trace of doubt. "Bailey Honghang, you came to take the pill master examination?" Bailey Hongzhuang nodded, "Right." After everybody knew about Bailey Hongzhuang's accomplishments in medicine, thinking about how she was taking the pill master examination, their faces all couldn't help but turn a bit strange. Before they knew that Bailey Hongzhuang was a doctor, they had only known that she had the channel opening pill and had believed that she was a pill master. Now that they were aware, they simply couldn't believe Bailey Hongzhuang was taking the pill master's examination. Medicinal skills and pill refining were both very hard skills to understand and master. For Bailey Honghang to reach such an attainment of her skills was already an incredible feat. If Bailey Honghang really could also refine pills along with her medicinal skills, wouldn't her talent be just too heaven-defying? Chapter 322. This wasn't everyone not believing in Bailey Hongzhuang's talent. Wei Meidai has been following Gu Pangyun in pill refining since childhood, but she still isn't even a rank 1 pill master. Even though it was like that, Wei Meidai was still a genius at pill definition. Because amongst the other pill master apprentices their age, apart from Lu Qingyue, nobody even had the qualifications to participate. Bailey Hongzhuang's current achievements with medicine were already enough to make everyone stunned. If she could also have such accomplishments in pill refining, then she wouldn't be human. "Old Huan, I didn't know about Bailey Hongzhuang's medicinal skills, but she even said that her pill refining skills were better than Wei Meidai in front of everybody. Isn't this simply talking nonsense?" Gu Zhangyan's chin raised slightly, his cold face filled with displeasure. Earlier he had lost a lot of face, so no matter what, he needed to snatch some back from Bailey Hongzhuang. He didn't care how good Bailey Honghang's medicinal skills were. If Bailey Honghang's pill refining techniques weren't good, it was her wrong. "Master, this guy's really too much." Little Black's face was resentful. This guy was too shameless. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at Gu Zhangyan with disgust, a trace of coldness in her jade-like black eyes. From the beginning to now, it was that pair of Gu master and disciple finding trouble with her, but now all the blame was pushed upon her body. She had never seen somebody this shameless. "Really? You've never even seen my skills, so why are you saying I'm talking big?" Her cold, indifferent voice held a trace of provocation. Since Gu Zhangyan was being so shameless to her, she didn't need to worry about giving him face. Gu Songyun had originally wanted to say Bailey Honghang was boasting, so when she later failed the Pill Master's examination, the awkward one would naturally be her. But he hadn't expected Bailey Honghang to suddenly ask such a thing. Bailey Hongzhuang, my master and Master Huan were talking. How could you interrupt as you please? Wei Meidai was watching at the side and had no chance to speak, so when she saw Bailey Honghang's rudeness towards Gu Songyun, she immediately jumped at her. Bailey Hongzhuang raised her brow, glancing at Wei Meidai mockingly, you and I are total strangers, so what does my matter have with you? Wei Meidai was startled. Why couldn't Bailey Hongzhuang just act with common sense? Normally speaking, with such a big label crashing at her, Bailey Hongzhuang should have been in a fluster. But why didn't Bailey Honghang seem to care at all? The sentence left her with no way to respond. Gu Songyun frowned. Old Huan, your students are really too outrageous. Their parents truly didn't teach them well. Just as Gu Songyun said those words, Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes suddenly darkened, staring at Gu Songyun icily. Although Bailey Hongzhuang still didn't know who her own, biological parents were, there was no way she would let others slander them. You have guts, what did you say again? Her icy cold voice didn't seem to contain the slightest bit of warmth. Bailey Honghang had long lost her sweet, indifferent appearance, replaced by a bone-chilling iciness. Although she was very much disgusted by Gu Songyun, since she was his elder, she restrained herself. But Gu Songyun only grew more and more excessive. She couldn't be blamed for this. Bailey Honghang's words made the atmosphere grow sluggish. Everyone stared at Bailey Honghang in shock. Nobody expected her to say such bold words. Chapter 323 Huan Chuyu frowned. Gu Songyun's words were truly too excessive. He and Gu Songyun knew each other for many years, and he understood his narrow-minded temper very well. If you provoked his people, he would find every possible way to get revenge. But the person behind Bailey Hongzhuang definitely wasn't simple, and couldn't possibly have an ordinary background. Bailey Honghang's sentence didn't give Gu Songyun any face at all. He didn't dare to believe that Bailey Hongzhuang had dared to say such a thing to him right in front of Huan Chuyu. What did you say just now? Gu Songyun's eyes were filled with anger. He clenched his teeth and asked again. He didn't believe that Bailey Honghang would dare to say that again. I said, if you have the guts, say it one more time. Bailey Hongzhuang's face didn't change, repeating her words coldly. As the family leader in her past life, she had seen many pill masters. Nobody had ever dared to say such a thing to her. Even though this was her second life, no way would she let Gu Songyun insult her parents. Sensing Bailey Hongzhuang's icy gaze, Gu Songyun shivered. In her gaze, he had clearly sensed a strong killing intent. As a third-grade pill master, he had naturally seen many experts. But this was still the first time he felt such terrifying killing intent. Gu Songyun fell in a daze, unable to speak. Huan Chuyu also took note of Bailey Hongzhuang's imposing aura, his eyes immediately lighting up. Bailey Hongzhuang really was out of the ordinary. Such an aura coming out from a young teenage girl was truly rare. Tong Qingyuan was secretly speechless, his heart holding a trace of fear towards Bailey Hongzhuang. From Bailey Honghang's actions, she seemed to be even more arrogant than Gu Songyun. Seeing the mood become awkward, Huan Chuyu had no choice but to help smooth things over. Since Bailey Hongzhuang and Wei Meidai both came to take the Pill Master's exam, why let them take it now? Gu Songyun was frozen awkwardly, so seeing Huan Chuyu give him a way out, he immediately seized the opportunity. That's also good. I'll see just how good Bailey Hongzhuang's pill refining skills really are. Gu Songyun snorted angrily, flinging his sleeve as he entered the examination hall. Wei Meidai glanced at Bailey Hongzhuang furiously before following after Gu Songyun. Huan Chuyu shook his head before calling Tong Qingyuan and Bailey Hongzhuang into the examination hall too. The crowd watched as Gu Songyun and the others went into the examination halls, their hearts itching. The examination hall wasn't an area they could go to. This Bailey Hongzhuang's really too daring, treating Master Gu like that, and yet Master Gu still had no way out. Master Gu and Wei Meidai are always so arrogant, it's rare for somebody to make them suffer a loss. Bailey Hongzhuang really is amazing. Bailey Hongzhuang is Godly Dr. Square's master. Many people seek her to treat their illnesses, so naturally, she doesn't care about Master Gu. Hearing this, everyone nodded. That was very reasonable. On pill refination, Master Huan was above Master Gu, but in medicine, there was nobody above Bailey Hongzhuang. With regards to talent, Bailey Honghang was fully deserving of being called a master. The only thing blocking her was her age that made others incapable of calling out master. Bailey Honghang walked into the heavy black curtains, the examination hall appearing in front of her. Inside, circular pill furnaces were laid out, a wooden square table set by each one, evidently used to hold pill ingredients. Chapter 324. A high circular platform was spiraled around the pill furnaces. That was clearly the judge's seat. Sitting on the high platform, the judging pill masters could clearly observe everything that was happening. Bailey Hongzhuang, choose a seat and prepare to start refining pills. Huan Chuyu said. Hearing that, Bailey Hongzhuang walked down the platform and randomly chose a pill furnace to sit at. Next, we'll begin the first grade pill master's examination. I will first explain the rules. Tong Qingyuan spoke slowly. Wei Meidai naturally already knew about the rules, but this was Bailey Hongzhuang's first time, so Tong Qingyuan had specifically said it for her to hear. The examination is to refine a pill randomly selected by the examination judge. You have 3 sets of materials. As long as you successfully refine the pill within the time limit, you'll pass. The time limit is 1 hour. Bailey Hongzhuang inwardly nodded. This examination was very fair. Even for pill masters, refining pills always had a chance for failure. The higher the pill's grade, the higher the chance of failure. The reason why they had 3 sets of materials was so even if they fail, they could try again. The rate of failure was something all pill masters had to face. 2 things reflected a pill master's strength. The first was the highest grade pill they could refine, and the second was their success rate. It was because the failure rate was so high, that all pill masters had countless precious pill ingredients piled up. If there wasn't enough ingredients to practice with, there was no way to become a pill master. How about I draw the examination's pill today? Just as Tong Qingyuan was about to draw the pill topic, Gu Zhangyan suddenly interrupted. Tong Qingyuan subconsciously looked at Bailey Honghang. With Gu Zhangyan's temper, he definitely wouldn't make it advantageous for Bailey Hongzhuang. Seeing Tong Qingyuan's gaze, Bailey Honghang nodded slightly. With her strength, she didn't care about what pill Gu Zhangyan chose at all. Gu Zhangyan and Wei Meidai were unexpected variables. She didn't want to make things difficult for Tong Qingyuan. Since Gu Zhangyan wanted to do something to her, just let him come. In any case, she was confident that the one with their face beaten would be Gu Zhangyan. Seeing Bailey Honghang without any complaints, Tong Qingyuan agreed, okay. Gu Zhangyan took out a slip of paper from the trunk of examination pill topics and glanced at it before speaking. Today's pill examination topic is returning chi pills. His voice dropped and Gu Zhangyan seamlessly tucked the slip of paper into his sleeve. Obviously, what was really written on the slip of paper was no longer important. Wei Meidai's eyes brightened when she heard the words returning chi pills, her face filled with unconcealable excitement. For the past few days, she had been practicing refining the returning chi pill, and had managed to successfully refine one a few days ago. She hadn't thought that today's examination topic would precisely be returning chi pills. The heavens were truly on her side. Thinking of this, Wei Meidai glanced at Bailey Honghang proudly. This time, she wanted to show Bailey Honghang the difference between them. Bailey Hongzhuang wasn't worried at all. Returning chi pills were the pills she refined the most these days. Before, to go to Luoyun for the practical training, she had deliberately been refining a lot of returning chi pills. Returning chi pills was her highest success rate. Gu Zhangyan's carefully selected choice had only given her a wedding dress. Chapter 325. Quickly, the Pill Master Guild's attendant brought the materials needed for refining the returning Qi pill over and placed them in front of Bailey Hongzhuang and Wei Meidai. Looking at the materials on the table, Bailey Hongzhuang didn't hesitate, and in an instant the fire beneath the pill furnace lit up in a fiery burst. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang prepared to refine the pill without batting an eyelash, Wei Meidai was a bit surprised. Amongst the grade 1 pills, the returning Qi pill had a high degree of difficulty. Moreover, the pill formula each pill master possessed had differences between them. Though the pills commonly seen in the market were refined from pill formulas all pill masters possessed, the returning Qi pill's formula was very precious. Not just anyone would be able to have possession of it. Bailey Hongzhuang's look at the moment was an air of relaxed calm. It couldn't be that this was faked, right? The returning Qi pill is not an easy pill to refine. There's no sense in putting on an act. Just give up so as to avoid making a fool of yourself later. Wei Meidai sneered at Bailey Hongzhuang, words full of ridicule. Though she allowed Bailey Hongzhuang to play to the gallery, she didn't believe for a second that Bailey Hongzhuang would really be able to refine a pill. Bailey Hongzhuang shot Wei Meidai a faint glance. You don't even have the ability to pass the exam yourself. So don't go running your mouth off here. Hearing Bailey Hongzhuang's merciless reply, Wei Meidai became angry. She really didn't understand why Bailey Hongzhuang was so confident. You're only a doctor and not a pill master, Wei Meidai said coldly, eyes full of envy. Seeing that Wei Meidai was so noisy, Bailey Hongzhuang slightly turned and looked condescendingly at the other. Did you perhaps not know that the Godly Doctor Square also sold pills? Wei Meidai paused. Of course she knew the Godly Doctor Square sold pills. What's more, the price of those pills were 20% higher compared to the market value. Even though the price was so much higher, an endless stream of people still went there to buy pills. Some time ago, Master sent someone to buy a pill from the Godly Doctor Square. After careful study, he actually discovered that the effect of the pills sold by the Godly Doctor Square were much greater than the effect of the ones currently in the market. It was really inconceivable. Thinking of this, a trace of suspicion unwittingly flashed through Wei Meidai's eyes. Perhaps there was a chance to understand the secret of the Godly Doctor Square's pill formula from Bailey Hongzhuang's own mouth. After all, Bailey Hongzhuang is the master of the Godly Doctor Square. I do wonder which great pill master temporarily left them there to be sold. If someone pays a higher price, then those pills would have nothing to do with you. You're not going to tell me that the pills sold at Godly Doctor Square were sold by you, right? TSK, TSK. Wei Meidai laughed, chaotically trembling like flowers swaying on a branch with ridicule and mockery written all over her face. So chaotically trembling like flowers swaying on a branch described the action of a beautiful woman when she is laughing, and I don't know how it would look like a comma. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled up into a bewitching and dazzling smile. Her alluring and perfect face suddenly became peerlessly beautiful and glamorous. The words that came out of her mouth left Wei Meidai boggled and speechless. It's rare that you are smart for once. Those airy words were indifferent yet confident. From beginning to end, Bailey Hongzhuang held the air of a great master, giving Wei Meidai a feeling of someone at the pinnacle. Wei Meidai froze, the ridiculing smile on her face dissipated into thin air following Bailey Hongzhuang's words. Impossible, impossible, definitely impossible. Wei Meidai denied strongly. According to her master, to be able to refine pills with perfect efficacy, Godly Doctor Square's pills were definitely refined by great master with very high pill refining skills. If there was a chance to get acquainted, even her master would have to address the other as great master. Telling her now that Bailey Hongzhuang was the great pill master she admired, how could she accept it? Chapter 326. Ding. Tong Qingyuan hit the gong, indicating that the examination has begun and that the incense stick has already been ignited. Bailey Hongzhuang no longer paid attention to the noisy Wei Meidai beside her, directly starting to refine her pill. She had refined far too many returning Qi pills, so refining it again now was just like a walk in the park. She first placed the indigo star plant into the pill furnace, the flames quickly swallowing it up. Under her watch, the indigo star plant quickly withered. Under the flame's purification, all the impurities were dissolved, leaving a fine, pure powder. Bailey Honghang then inserted another herb into the pill furnace, allowing the flame to swallow it again. The flame danced under the control of Bailey Hongzhuang's spirit power, seeming just like a jumping sprite. More and more pill ingredients were added in. Bailey Hongzhuang's actions were like moving clouds and flowing water, as if resembling nature itself. Chinese idioms, it means very natural and unforced, highest quality. The flame that was always troublesome to control was like a docile baby in her hands. Her face was completely calm, with an air like a master's. Huan Chuyo's eyes slowly changed as he watched Bailey Hongzhuang refine the pills, finally changing into a trace of awe. An expert's moves, with not a single flaw. Bailey Honghang's actions were smooth and experienced. Obviously, she had placed a lot of time and effort into pill refining. Even if it was them, their technique might not be better. Watching Bailey Hongzhuang refining the pills was like looking at a piece of art. Such calmness gave people a sense of beauty. By contrast, Wei Meidai on the other side seemed to be having trouble and was tense with fear, scared the flame would escape her control. Refining pills were a result of hard work and numerous revisions. Only after practicing many times would the difficulty fade away. The gap between the two was clear as day. Tong Qingyuan's eyes were filled with shock and admiration, Bailey Hongzhuang's seriously too amazing awe. Her pill refinement techniques are like nature itself, truly at the peak of perfection. There was something Tong Qingyuan thought but didn't say. He thought that Bailey Hongzhuang's techniques were probably even better than his, but he still couldn't bring himself to say it. Huan Chuyu nodded slightly, admiration clear in his eyes. Bailey Hongzhuang really is a talent. He had seen many talents in Qingxua continent, but never had he seen one as heaven-defying as Bailey Hongzhuang. Other people, even if given 10 more years, still might not be able to get similar achievements to the ones achieved by this 10-something-year-old girl. How could others not be shocked? Gu Zhangyan's proud face slowly disappeared. He swallowed, not daring to believe that this was real. Now there was almost no doubt that Bailey Hongzhuang really was a pill master. If Bailey Hongzhuang passed the first-grade pill master exam, he'd lose far too much face. But right now Tong Qingyuan and Huan Chuyu were focusing intently on Bailey Hongzhuang, not paying any attention to his thoughts. After all the ingredients were purified, Bailey Hongzhuang covered the pill furnace's lid and enveloped the pill furnace in her spirit force. Turning the purified ingredients into a pill was the most difficult part. Huan Chuyu looked at Bailey Hongzhuang's calm and tranquil appearance, and he was no longer worried. The pill refinement would definitely be a success. Wei Meidai noticed her master staring at Bailey Hongzhuang as if he had seen a ghost. Her heart couldn't help but grow a bit curious as she turned back to look at her. When she saw, Wei Meidai was stunned. She had only purified the third ingredient, yet Bailey Honghang finished all the purifying and started refining.